York Giant fans. Baddog, are you ready?
Oh, I'm freaking ready. Let's get ready. So you know what the rest of it is. Can't say it because I think the guy patented it, so we won't take that.
Oh,
From
Buffer,
the
yeah.
Buffer guy. But yeah, I'm ready to go.
Yeah,
I'm ready.
I can't wait, man. I can't
Confident,
wait.
ready, and like I said, I'm gonna be hyper as hell that entire stream. We better win.
Bye, Matthew.
Oh,
Said Chris
Jesus.
fell off.
Starting early. Everybody's a critic.
Bye, Matthew. Matthew's a Daniel Jones hater, so he could go. I don't care about him.
Everybody's a critic. It just cracks me up.
Yeah. But thank you, everybody, for being here.
Think about this. This is a guy that comes into a stream to watch you, even though he says that's cringe. So think about where his life's at.
It is what it is.
It is.
It is what it is.
It's just fun. It just cracks me up.
But thank you to everybody for being here. What's going on, Richard, man? What's going on, DQ, man? What's going on, Peter? What's going on, Young Chow? What's going on, Cowboy Suck, my favorite name on YouTube? What's going on, Gabe? What's going on, Ethan? What's going on, XST? We got a big game today, Sunday, going up against the Indianapolis Colts, a playoff game. We've had now essentially 4 playoff games this year. The first Washington game, the second Washington game. You could argue the Minnesota game, even though we got some things to bounce our way. It was obviously a big game going in. And now another one. If the Giants win, we'll be able to sip pina coladas and relax the last week of the season as we get ready for the playoffs. If they lose, well, that's going to present a lot of pressure going into the last week of the season. I don't want to be there. I look at this Colts team. They're banged up. They're not very good. They got Jeff Saturday as their head coach. Baddog, this is a game we should win. We're home. We've had an extra day to prepare than they have. They, of course, played, I think, on Monday Night Football. There's really no excuses. Jonathan Taylor's not playing. There's really no excuses for the New York Giants not to win this game.
None at all. They played Monday night. They played in Los Angeles. They're flying across the country to play in New York early Sunday. So there is no excuse. This is it, Giants fans. This is it, New York Giants. I don't need to come on here and pump up the Giants. Brian Daboll doesn't need to come in here and pump up the Giants. They know what's in front of them. This is a group of young guys that has an opportunity to go into the postseason. Just get there and then let the chips fall where they may, right? But this is it. Everything's in front of you. You don't need to worry about what Washington does. You don't need to worry about what Detroit does. You don't need to worry about what Seattle or Green Bay does. If you take care of your own business on Sunday, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what those guys, it doesn't matter. Just take care of business. A team that's just playing out the season. They got nothing to play for. They got Nick Foles back there. He was terrible the other night. Their offensive line can't block. Even Quentin Nelson has said he's had a terrible year. The only guy that really scares me a little bit is Zach Moss. I think Zach Moss is an underrated running back. He runs very hard. There's definitely a guy we got to stop. We got to get them in 3rd and long. We can't let Nick Foles be in 3rd and short. You want to have obvious passing situations because if we get them in obvious passing situations, we're going to get there and Foles is going to turn the ball over. Zach Moss, they got to stop him. They got to get them in 3rd and long. They're going to win this game. The Giants are going to win this game, but they have to play Giants football and they can't make mistakes. Like the Colts need to make more mistakes than Giants. We can't play, we can't lose a turnover battle and all this other crap. That we did against Minnesota. We can't do
Listen, I was excited as everybody else to see the New York Giants open up the offense last week. Some of it probably had to do with the opponent we were going up against. Minnesota didn't have the best of pass defenses in this game. And I'm not saying run the ball 50 times, but in this game, the New York Giants, I think, have to play close to the vest on offense. Do not turn the ball over. Play smart, control the clock, and create some turnovers on the other side. And now if there's big plays to be had, have them. I love the way that Daniel Jones looked last week against the Minnesota Vikings, but I would love to see us get this ground attack established because if there is a strength right now in this Indianapolis Colts team, it's their defense. We saw how they were able to do against Herbert. They did a pretty good job. Their offense isn't very good. I think we'll be able to create some turnovers, but like you said, Giants can't give away possessions. No. Can't turn the football over. Got to play smart, and we should get out of here with a win. And I'm hoping we get out of here with a double-digit win. It would be nice to be relaxed for once as a Giants fan and be ready for the playoffs. I'm picking them to win convincingly, but in the back of my head, I'm like, this is the Giants. It's never easy, but I don't care. At the end of the day, just get a win this week. That's all that matters. Doesn't need to be pretty.
No. And the Giants got to get up to a fast start. You want to kick this. You want to get out there. You want to punch this team in the mouth, knock them down, step on their throat. And then when you have them down and you're stepping on their throat, you want to step on their throat harder and harder and harder till they say, no mas, and they quit. Don't let this team even have a chance. Don't let this team believe that they can beat you. Knock them in the mouth, put them behind early, and leave no doubt. And then this team is going to crumple up. They're going to say to hell with it. I mean, we got nothing to play for. You know, if the Giants can get up 14-0, 17-3, and then they got to put the nail in the coffin. Like, that's what I want to see from the Giants. I want them to be up 14-3, 17-3, and then have a really good drive and go up 24-3. And then you know it's done. That's what you, especially with the Colts offense. The Colts offense is not good, like you said. Make them put them behind by 2 scores, or they have to pass. And then we really got them where we want them. And that's what the Giants have to do. They can't get off to a slow start. They can't let the Colts hang around in this game. The Giants are home. Like you said, an opportunity to clinch the playoffs at home in front of their fans. That crowd is going to be freaking super hyped up. Let them, I know they're going to be loud as hell, and the Giants got to play and keep that crowd behind them. And that's going to be huge.
Yeah, I'm in complete agreement with you. And this is a game, what scares me the most as a Giants fan going into this game is, like you said, the Colts have nothing to play for. And to me, that makes them dangerous because there's no pressure going in, which is why going into this game, I almost want to get the ball first. Almost every week I say I want to start with the ball in the second half. If there was a week I want to start with the ball first, I think it's this week because I want to get ahead and I want the Colts to just be like, all right, we got nothing to play for. We're down 14 points. Put them to get them to quit on the game early. Get out to the early lead. I don't want the Colts to be in this game because if they are, they're going to be free balling. They're not going to care. They're going to go out there. They're going to take chances. They're going to take risks, and maybe they get a couple of breaks to go their way. They're a dangerous team from that standpoint because they have nothing to lose. So if I'm the Giants, get off to that quick start, make them quit early. And if you do that, this could be a blowout.
I still want to give them the ball first.
You still want to give them the ball first.
I want our defense.
I understand that.
Which has been the best unit to go out there and establish the tone early. I want them to get to Foles. I want them to prove that they can get to Foles. I want in the back of Foles' mind every time he drops back, number 5 somewhere. Number 51 is somewhere. If Aziz is playing, I don't know what Aziz's status is. But I want him to think Sexy Dexy, Leonard Williams, Kayvon Thibodeau, where these guys come from. I want him to have it in the back of his mind. I'm going to get hit. I'm going to get hit. I want this defense to come out there and just kick his ass. And I know Wink Martindale wants to come out there and kick his ass because that offense is not good. And we need to, like I said, you get a turnover early, that'd be huge. The Giants can definitely force that. There's no question. I don't think that the Chargers pass rush is any better than ours. And if they were getting there without a problem, I don't see why we can't either.
Yeah, I think we will be able to. The pass rush has been really good in recent weeks. And let's get to a couple of these. King Josh says, is there any way you guys can actually show the game? No, not allowed. I wish we could. You're not allowed to show the game on YouTube. Or I don't think you showed it on Twitch. I don't think you showed it anywhere.
It's a legal thing. It's copyrighted by the National Football League. So it's like bootlegging a movie. You're not allowed to do that. You're stealing it. You're stealing their product. You can't do that.
Now, what's interesting, Bad Dog, I don't know if you heard this, and I think it comes next year. I think the NFL comes to YouTube TV. I think they signed a contract.
Yeah, NFL, I think the NFL Sunday Ticket.
Yeah, so if that happens, I wonder if it's being shown on YouTube TV, if we'd then be able to show it while we were.
No, because you're going to have to pay for it.
Well, yeah, I'd pay for it if I could show the game while we're doing the play-by-play.
You're not going to be able to show the game because the people that don't pay for it.
Oh, yeah,
it's going to be the same. It's going to be the same thing. You're going to have to pay $300 or whatever NFL Sunday Ticket costs. You're just going to pay YouTube.
Right.
Like I pay for YouTube Premium, so I don't have to watch the ads. So it's going to be the same thing. You have to pay for the ticket. So you can't be like, oh, I bought it, but I can show it to 3,000 people. They're not going to. You can't do that. It's still copyrighted by the NFL. It's still a National Football League's product. You can't take it.
Yes, that sucks. And Connor, man, thank you so much, man. This is for Matthew. Stand up, new member. Welcome to the squad, Connor, man. I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you to everybody for being here. Appreciate it. Chris Cohen says, are you? Yes, I am. I'm going to be going to the game. I couldn't pass it up, Bad Dog. I know, obviously, you live far away. Completely different scenario for you.
Yeah, and I have a 5-year-old son.
Games like this don't come around every.
I can't just be like, yeah, hey, I'm going.
Yeah. But games like this don't come around every so often. It's probably going to be the last home game of the year because we're going to get in as a 6 or 7 seed. Even if we go on an unforeseen run, we're not going to have a home playoff game. So this is as close to a home playoff game as you're going to get all year. It's the biggest game by far that the New York Giants have played at home since the 2012 playoffs when they took on the Atlanta Falcons, or 2011 playoffs, I should say, when they took on the Atlanta Falcons at home. Outside of that, we've always been on the road during those playoff runs. So, and obviously we were in Green Bay in 2016. So this is as big of a home game as the Giants have had in quite some time. A win-and-in opportunity. This is a legit win-and-in opportunity. It's not like it was in 2020. This is a winning team. We talked about it earlier this week. The Giants have not had a losing record all year, which is amazing for me to say that. It's been a great year. This has been
an awesome year.
It's been one of the most fun teams I've watched since I've been watching the New York Giants, just because of how unexpected this was. The method in which they've played some of the teams they've knocked off. It's been a really fun year, and hopefully we close the door this week. I'm looking forward to it. Harry, man, what's going on, man? Biggest game in 6 years. I have confidence this week. Let's go, Giants. Chris and Baddog, I'm off this week, and I'm preparing for Sunday. Now,
Let's go, Harry.
Be preparing for Sunday, Harry.
Oh, yes. Let's go. You better prepare for Monday, too, when you're celebrating all night on Sunday.
I'm gonna tell you what, and Baddog's gonna be going solo. He's gonna hold it down. We'll definitely be doing the playoff game together if and when the New York Giants make it. And if the Giants win, I will be live to celebrate with you guys later in the night. And hopefully we all get to celebrate.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to it. It should be a lot of fun. Comrade Dog, man, thank you very much, man. Full sack 7 times, blood in the water. Wink.
Oh, yeah.
I love what Wink had. I mean, Wink said it earlier in the year. He came out and said it again. He wants the crowd to get involved. I love Wink. I love Wink. He's the man. He's the man. Now, there's times where you get pissed off with Wink when he blitzes in.
I got mad at him when he blitzed there at the end of the Minnesota game.
Yeah, but overall, I love Wink, man. I love the attitude that he brings, and love him. Love him. I think the fans love him too. Adam, man, thank you very much, man. Oh God, shut it, Roy Doug. Max. Oh God.
Matt speaking facts that the stand up was cringe. Let me ask you a question, Adam. Why am I Roy Dog? Why do you think? Why? Because I have muscles? That automatically equates to somebody being on. The funny thing is, in person, I have so many people. It's funny because Simon Miller talks about this. In person, I get a lot. You're too skinny. You're too skinny. Why don't you eat something? You're too skinny. But on the internet, you're on roids, bro. You're on roids. I'll tell you this. I'm not. But if I was, it's really none of your business what I do. Worry about yourself. Why are you worried about what I do? Why are you worried about what some dude on YouTube is doing? You should concentrate on yourself. Your life would be a lot better. It's just a fact.
It's a good way to put it.
It's just this Gen Z is just, they're so concerned about other people. Worry about yourself, man. And are you on roids? Are you on roids?
I'm not. I'm not.
Not you. I'm asking him. Are you on roids? Maybe you are. Maybe that's an admission of guilt. I don't know.
Desmond, man, thank you very much, man. Hey, MetLife Stadium will be rocking blue this week. I will be waking up at 8 a.m. Wow. Where is he? Is that Hawaiian time?
Hawaiian, yeah.
Yeah. The boys to watch the boys in blue kick ass. If we lose to the Colts, we don't deserve that. Exactly, Desmond. Obviously, if we do lose, I'm going to be rooting my ass off to beat the Eagles. But at the end of the day, when push comes to shove, with all the variables, how this is laid out for the New York Giants, every team lost that we needed to last week. You're playing a beat-up Indianapolis team. They've got an ESPN analyst as their head coach. Short rest. We're home. If we can't beat this team, how the hell are we going to win a playoff game? So I'm with you. This is a game we absolutely have to win. The thing that scares me the most going into this game, though, is the New York Giants have all the pressure in the world. The Colts have nothing to lose. It's the epic David versus Goliath matchup. But the thing I'll say from a positive standpoint, the Giants have played in pressure-filled games throughout this entire time. They had the pressure-filled game against Washington twice. Last week, they played one of their better games of the year, even though they lost. And I know that they should have won. And they allowed that game to get away from them, but they went toe-to-toe on the road, short rest, going to Minnesota. If I would have told you going into that game, short rest, going to Minnesota, on the road, we're gonna lose the turnover battle by 2, and going up against a high-powered offense like the Minnesota Vikings, we're gonna throw the ball 45 times or whatever, how many times Daniel Jones threw that ball. What would you told me the final score was gonna be going into that game?
I probably would have thought we'd lose like 31-13 or something.
Yeah, 100%. And that's what I took out of that game more so than anything else. The New York Giants played Minnesota style of football, and they should have won the game probably by 10 points.
Mm-hmm.
That to me is a sign of growth with this team. It was one of our better games of the year, even though we lost.
That's why I was mad. That's what pissed me off. Like I said, if they would have just got to overtime, we were winning. I don't. There's no question in my mind we were winning that game if it went into overtime, which is exactly why I want another shot at Minnesota, because I think that we can beat them, and I think if we get another chance at them, we will beat them. So I just want to get into the postseason. Like I said, and like you just mentioned, if we don't beat the Colts, if we can't beat the Colts, we don't deserve the postseason. We don't. So they got nobody to blame themselves. They control their own destiny. This is exactly where you want to be if you're the New York Giants. You're playing against a team, like I said, that's just trying to get to the end of the year. They have nothing to play for. They're on short rest. They're flying all the way across the country. They're playing an early game on Sunday. Jeff Saturday's not a good coach. We know that. They're on their third string quarterback. Their best player is out. Their offensive line has been bad. And it's just a game we should win. We're better than the Colts. It's very rare that you'd look at the Giants and go, they're better than this team. They're better than the Texans. They're better than the Colts. Other than that, like if I look at every other team we played, I don't know if I'll be like, we're better than that.
I think we're better than the Bears.
Yeah, we're better than I guess we're better than the Bears.
Probably better than the Panthers.
Packers? Are we better than the Ravens? Are we better
we're
than
not, from a talent perspective, we're not better than the Packers.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean.
Not better than the Ravens. Not better than the Titans.
I mean, without Tannehill, we might be. Without Tannehill, Derrick Henry, we might be.
I'm going to tell you what, though, and he's not a good quarterback, but that guy who played didn't look bad. I thought he was going to embarrass himself.
Joshua Dobbs?
He actually played decent. I watched the game. I watched the second half. He played decent. He didn't embarrass himself.
No, he didn't.
He looked a lot better than Malik Willis.
They didn't play Malik Willis. I don't know why they didn't play Malik Willis.
Because Malik Willis isn't that good. At least right now.
He was the first quarterback since 2017 that his first 3 starts, he had under 100 yards passing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I was surprised. I mean, you drafted him third. Dobbs has been in the league 6 years. Like you also, I mean, you're playing for, I mean, that's what's messed up. If the Titans had nothing to play for, I guess it would have made sense. But my God, I mean, they're playing for trying to win the division and you're playing Josh Dobbs. Like, what does that say about what they think about Malik Willis? To
be fair, where Willis was drafted, historically speaking, you expect him to be a backup. He was almost a 4th round pick. He was a back end of the 3rd round pick.
Dobbs,
Dobbs they picked up off the scrap heap. But obviously they don't think the kid's ready. I mean, but
he's played 3 games though. I mean, how are you going to get him ready? I know.
I agree. If I was a Titans fan, I would have wanted to see him play.
I would have rather saw him play.
Yeah. Michi, man, thank you very much, man. I already donated this during Bad Dogs Live, but man, these Carr rumors are really starting to piss me off. Bad Dog told me about the rumors. I didn't even hear about them until Bad Dog told me about them, I think, yesterday on Patricia Trainer's stream. The Derek Carr rumors, whatever they are, tell me the exact rumors, Bad Dog. What came out? I didn't even read it.
No, it's just
I saw somebody else posted on Twitter today.
There's no rumors. They're just talking about if the Giants replace Daniel Jones, it's possible they replace Daniel Jones. Derek Carr would be a perfect fit. That's it.
Derek Carr's what, 32?
What I told Michi is this. These guys are just looking for clicks on their article. There's nothing to them. They're making this up. Just like there's Yankee people out there right now. They got nothing to do.
Right.
There's no content for Yankee stuff right now.
Yeah.
So they're making up rumors about Mike Trout wanting to be a Yankee. Mike Trout's not going to be a Yankee. The Yankees are not picking up a dude with a $430 million contract that's got a bad back. But they just want someone to click on it. Oh, Mike Trout. Like, that's the biggest name in baseball. Let's go Mike Trout. So I think that's the thing with Derek Carr. It would not make any sense to pay Derek Carr and not pay Daniel Jones.
The Derek Carr thing, even if you feel like Derek Carr is an upgrade over Daniel Jones, it's not a significant. It's not, and I don't think he is, by the way, but it's not a significant upgrade. You're talking about a guy who's arguably throwing to the best wide receiver in football. Darren Waller would be by far the best weapon on the New York Giants team. He has a much better supporting cast than Daniel Jones does. And he's not winning football games with the Raiders. Granted, I'm sure they played a hard schedule, so on and so forth. You're talking about bringing in a guy who would be 31, 32 years old, whatever he'd be next year, into an offense that he's never played in before, with wide receivers he's never thrown to before.
Yeah, he ain't throwing to Devontae Adams.
Going from a A+ support, at least a B+ supporting cast in terms of offensive weaponry, to an F. Why in the world would, not to mention he's 32. Daniel Jones is 25. You know what Carr's ceiling is. Jones still has some more developing to do. He's essentially a rookie in a brand new offense yet again. So that just makes no sense to me. I know the Daniel Jones haters will be like, oh, get Carr. What is Derek Carr going to do? Derek Carr's whatever.
My brother-in-law is a Raider fan. He said that they've tried with Derek Carr. You know, they had Amari Cooper to throw to. You're not getting much better than Amari Cooper in his prime. Then they go out, and he's like, they do the same thing. Like, they believe in Derek Carr. So what do? They go out and they trade for Devontae Adams. And they pay Devontae Adams all this money. And it don't work. Devontae Adams has a nice year, but the Raiders can't win any games. They have Darren Waller. I mean, I know Darren Waller's been hurt, but they have one of the best tight ends in the league. Matt Collins is pretty decent. Devontae Adams is one of the top 5 receivers in this league. They can't win. Derek Carr is not having a good year. Why? It doesn't make sense. Like I said, that's just
I promise you, Michi, I think that was who donated it.
Yeah.
We're not signing Derek Carr.
We're not signing Derek Carr.
I promise you.
It's not happening.
It's
Giants are either signing Daniel Jones or drafting a quarterback. They're not signing Derek Carr.
I'll say it like I've been saying for 8 weeks. They're signing Daniel Jones. It's the worst kept secret. Daniel Jones is going to be back with the New York Giants. But if he was not back, it would be a draft pick. Let's see what we got here. Pennsylvania says, remember when Joe Shane said we are going to compete and rebuild, and he is the only GM to get this this far? Hey, Joe Shane came in. I think he handled expectations well. He didn't come out and say that the New York. He actually didn't really. He wasn't nearly as outspoken in terms of trying to win now as Dave Gettleman was when he first took the job. His plan clearly showed that he was not thinking about the here and now. He's thinking about the long term. He had an opportunity to trade at the deadline to get wide receiver help. Didn't do it. Didn't want to sacrifice draft capital. Let Bradbury go. Let Blake Martinez go. Cleaned out the veterans on this roster, and he's starting to rebuild from scratch. Yet, even doing all that, the New York Giants have still been able to do what Pennsylvania just said. Find a way to be competitive. Find a way to win football games. And a lot of the credit's got to go to the coaching staff, and a lot of credit's got to go to the players on this team, Dexter Lawrence, Daniel Jones, guys that have taken a big step up here under Brian Daboll. So, yeah, it's been a great start, as good of a start as you could ever hope for as a Giants fan.
Yeah, Joe Shane came right out in his opening presser and said, listen, we're rebuilding. We're going to try to win, but we're in a rebuild. He pretty much said that. He didn't say we're trying to win and rebuilding. He said we're in a rebuild. We're going to try to win, but we're rebuilding. Pretty much what I took out of that was, if they win, awesome, but we don't really have high expectations. You shouldn't have high expectations. Don't expect it to be a Super Bowl team. Don't expect it to turn around in 1 year, although it has. And they proved right away, and Daboll said this in training camp, I don't care where you are on this roster. I don't care how much you make. I don't care how long you've been here. I don't care where you're drafted. I'm putting the best guys that I feel can win games. And you saw that. Kadarius Toney played 7 snaps the opening game. He was healthy, only played 7 snaps. Kenny Golladay can't get on the field. They don't play Kenny Golladay. They don't care about Kenny Golladay. It's just they're just going to go with the guys that they feel are going to win. So if that's Darius Slayton, if that's Richie James, if that's Isaiah Hodgins.
You named it.
That
was the guy I was going to say.
But
Hodgins.
So that's what they've done. And
Yeah.
they go with their guys. There's no allegiance. None of these guys outside of the guys they drafted and crappy guys like Feliciano or Glowinski that they brought in here, Hodgins. But they don't have any allegiance to most of the players here. So they're like, Galladay's going to be gone. They traded Kadarius Toney, which they didn't like Kadarius Toney at the beginning. There's rumors about that on draft day that they were going to trade Kadarius Toney. So he's gone, and Kenny Golladay will be gone next year, and they're going to go forward with what fits their system.
And I'm excited for it. I'm really excited for this offseason.
I'm too, because I feel like this the Giants got it right. The front office knows what they're doing.
Yep.
They're good young football minds. Head coach gets the most out of his players. Wink is Wink. He's a wily veteran of the crew. And, we've seen defensive guys have big years under Wink Martindale. So, yeah, I think the future's bright for the Giants, and the future started a little earlier. It's much brighter this year than I thought it would be. I thought 7-10 wasn't going to be bad.
7-10. I'm going to be honest with you, Bad Dog. We both predicted 7-10, and I thought I was being too optimistic with my prediction before the year started. In the back of my head, I'm like, I'm probably leaning more towards 6, but I'm going to say 7. I'm going to say a game is going to break right our way. Never in a million years did I think that the Giants would be sitting here with 2 weeks to go in the regular season with an opportunity to make the playoffs. It's been incredible.
I had us above 500. I did my prediction. I had us losing the last 4 games of the year. I had us losing at Washington. I had us losing at Minnesota. I thought the Colts would be a lot better. So I had us losing to the Colts, and then I had us losing to the Eagles.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
It's been a hell of a ride this year.
It has, and it's just beginning.
That's the scariest part about all this.
Yeah, this is going to be. We're getting there.
Yeah, and I've talked about it in the past. You know, I've seen people bring it up. Could we fall apart like the Raiders did this year? Because last year the Raiders were that breakout team that nobody expected, a 9-8 team. The Eagles were the other one. They, of course, built off of it. The Raiders tried to build off of it with how aggressive they were this offseason. They fell on their face. But the difference for me, I'm not saying we're gonna have an Eagles year next year. The Eagles are 13 or whatever they are, 13-2. But the difference for me between a team like the Raiders last year and the New York Giants this year, the head coach. The head coach is.
Oh, you nailed it. You nailed it. I was going to say the coach.
Major difference.
Josh McDaniels sucks.
Yeah, he's garbage.
It's terrible.
So that's the thing, and that's why I believe that this team is going to continue to win football games.
You nailed it.
And Lopez, man, thank you very much, man, for the $10 donation. I appreciate it. Rob in the chat, he says, so happy things are looking up for Danny Dimes and Giants Blue. Only ever wanted to root for the guy, and he's finally playing well. I mean, listen, unless you have an agenda and you just have pure hatred for the guy, I don't know why anybody wouldn't root for him to succeed if you're a Giants fan. He's impossible for me not to want to root for. I'm not saying that there haven't been times where I said to myself, yeah, eventually we're going to replace this guy. And by no means am I saying that I think he's the 10-year answer at quarterback until he proves that. He's got a lot more proving to do for me to feel that way. But he's my 2023 quarterback. He's the guy I went back to 2023. But the guy's a hard worker. Seems like a great kid. Handles the media well. He's got the tools. And this year you're seeing a coaching staff that's able to get something out of it, despite the fact that he has no help around him. So I don't know why anybody wouldn't root for Daniel Jones if you're a Giants fan. And I do think he's improved dramatically this year. We need to see him duplicate this next year when he gets more help.
Yeah, he needs to take a step up next year.
As big of a jump he took this year, from his third season, he has to take that big of a jump year 4 to year 5 once we get him some help. And we'll see if he can do that. But this year he's done a great job for the Giants, as much as I could have asked for before the year started.
Yeah, listen, I like I said, I've said this a million times, right? Before the year in August, I'll make a video saying there's no way he's coming back. So, the Giants are going to do something else. He's not Joe Shane's guy. He's not Daboll's guy. He was Gettleman's guy. They're moving on from him. And, I say it all the time that week 1, when he got chewed out for the bad interception and he turned it around, I said he showed a lot of resolve. He showed a lot of heart that he could take that and lead the Giants back. And he won a lot of points with me at that point. But as the years progressed and I've seen him grow and mature in the pocket and as a quarterback, yeah, he doesn't put up these Pat Mahomes stats, but he had 5 game-winning drives. When the chips are down, Daniel Jones is driving it down. He did it against Minnesota. Obviously, we couldn't win. All we could do was tie with a 2-point conversion. And there he is, driving. I know Barkley scored a touchdown, but Daniel Jones drove us down. Daniel Jones got the 2-point conversion. Daniel Jones has stepped up. And this is the thing. I always had that with Eli. No matter how bad Eli played during the game, if the Giants had a chance to win, I always felt like we were going to win. I'm not saying I'm quite there with Daniel Jones yet, but I'm very close to. Listen, we have a chance to win. I believe that he can do it. And that goes a long way with me as a fan. Yeah. Again, I've been very critical of Daniel Jones. There's no question about that. But he's earned the right to come back here. And I think he's the best option for the Giants in 2023.
Sometimes you got to just point people out in the chat that say things that are just statistically inaccurate. 11 touchdowns is 13 touchdowns. First off, it's 18 touchdowns. He's got 5 rushing touchdowns on top of it. Turnover rate is such a big jump, right? Well, let's talk about the turnover rate, Baddog. He has a 1% interception percentage. If the year were to finish, which we only have 2 games left, it would be only the second quarterback since 2018 to have a 1% interception percentage for an entire year. He's only had 3 lost fumbles this entire year. And despite the fact that he only has 13 passing touchdowns this year, let's take a look at his touchdown to interception ratio since we're talking about rate. Daniel Jones this year ranks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He's 10th. And Purdy's on that list, who's only played 7 games. So he's really 9th in touchdown to interception ratio at 2.6, despite the fact that he's only thrown 13. So, yes, you bet your ass his turnover to interception ratio or his turnover rate has gone up significantly. He's only turned the ball over, what is it, Bad Dog? 7, 8 times this entire year.
And again, one of them was
on him.
One of them was on a Hail Mary at the end of the half where he fumbled. He got hit and he fumbled, and Baltimore recovered it. One of the interceptions he had was a desperation against Dallas when David still slipped down and he threw an interception. But regardless, what do you mean turnover rate such a big jump? Do turnovers not matter to you? You'd rather have a Dak Prescott who has a 4%. He threw 2 more interceptions last night. You'd rather have that guy that turns the ball over a lot? Yes. Turnover rate matters. The fact that he's cut down on the turnovers matters. It shows he makes better decisions. It shows he has better pocket awareness. It shows that he's grown as a quarterback. That's what it shows to me. So he has 13 touchdowns. Why? Because they get inside the 5-yard line and they hand the ball off to their best player? I mean, I don't know what you want from Daniel Jones. He's not going to be Pat Mahomes. And I just love how some Giants fans just think it's just so easy to replace the quarterback. Oh, you got to find Josh. We need an elite quarterback. Like they grow on trees. Like you just got to draft a guy and he's elite. You just got to draft a quarterback and he's going to be the elite guy. We need the next Josh Allen. You don't just draft Josh Allen. That's not there every year to be had, right? Trevor Lawrence was there. We couldn't take Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence, Pat Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen. There you go. There's 5 elite talent quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Name another one.
There's not many.
There's 32 teams in the NFL. There's 5 elite quarterbacks.
Yeah, I think the names you just said, somebody asked me this on Twitter through direct messages yesterday. I think those are the exact 5 names I said. Now, there's definitely some quarterbacks from within the next tier that I would rather have than Jones. But to me, when you factor in everything, the whole supporting cast and everything else, I think there's 5 guys that are elite or trending to be elite quarterbacks. And I think you named them. Trevor Lawrence is going to be elite. The talent is off the charts. Mm-hmm. Joe Burrow, Pat Mahomes, Josh Allen, and Herbert. I think Herbert is very good. Very good. So those 5. And after that, I know Lamar Jackson's super popular, but Lamar Jackson hasn't been incredible since his MVP year. Kyler Murray, what's he doing this year, right? Yeah. So Dak Prescott, I mean, the guy has 13, 14 interceptions this year, and he's missed 3 or 4 games, and he has a much better supporting cast. So to me, and I know people are going to say Hurts. He's got he's better than Jones. I'm not saying he's not, but he's got an incredible cast.
Yeah. I mean, Gardner Minshew. An
incredible cast.
Gardner Minshew threw for 350 yards, had 3 touchdowns, and put up 34 points against Dallas, and would have beaten Dallas had Philadelphia not given up a 3rd and 30. Okay? So that is how good Philadelphia's supporting cast is. That Gardner Minshew put up those kind of numbers. And I read an article from, I forgot if it was Barstool Sports, but it was a terrible article, said that the loss to Dallas just strengthens Hurts' MVP argument. I'm like, what are you talking about? They put up 34 points with Gardner Minshew. He threw for 350 against Dallas. It's not like he did it against the Texans. He did that against Dallas in Dallas. So that's how good Philadelphia supporting cast is. I'm not taking anything away from Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts had a great year, and he may very well win the MVP. And if he does, it's well deserved. But that just goes to show you. And it's the same thing with San Francisco. I'm not taking anything away from Brock Purdy. It's been a great story, and I'm rooting for Brock Purdy, right? But again, it speaks to Christian McCaffrey. And I know Deebo Samuel got hurt, but it speaks to how good San Francisco is and how good the coach is.
Yeah.
It speaks to that. There's a lot that goes into it. So Daniel Jones doesn't have a great supporting cast. But again, I just don't know what people want. I want a quarterback that wins games. I want a quarterback that can drive his team the length of the field and score a touchdown and win the game, which he's proven he's done. I want a quarterback to make smart decisions and not turn the ball over. Because in the playoffs, it's very rare that you're putting up 40 points and blowing teams out. That doesn't usually happen. Usually in tight games, and usually turnovers are the things that cost you games or win you games. Give me the quarterback that may only throw for 212 yards and 1 touchdown, but doesn't turn the ball over against the guy that throws for 325 and turns it over 3 times.
I saw Dan. You said in the chat, I missed a super chat. I didn't. I see it. I'm getting to it. I'm just behind. I'm catching up. John, man, thank you very much, man. Happy New Year, boys. Playoffs. Yeah, playoffs. Let's blanking go. Good to see you, John, man. Hope you're doing well, buddy.
Ready.
Let's do it. I can't wait, man. Let's make the playoffs, man. It'd be so much fun.
Oh, hell
Peter says our starting left guard in 2023 is playing in this game, and he's not a Giant. Clickbait. Oh, so you think we're gonna end up getting? I don't think so. You think we're gonna end up getting Nelson? I mean, I'd love it, but I doubt.
We're not gonna be able to afford him.
Yeah, I doubt it. I know. I know he's a free agent, but I doubt it. But hey, I'd love to get him.
So would I.
And then there you go.
Who asked that last night on Patty's thing? Would you rather get a lineman or Barkley? So let me ask you this: would you rather give that money to Quentin Nelson or Saquon Barkley?
To be fair, I don't know how Quentin Nelson's played recently because I don't watch.
He has not played well at all.
Yeah. Let me take a quick look.
Even he said he's been bad, and I watched him get beat a few times inside against Los Angeles on Monday. Yeah. He has not played well this year.
Yeah, and even last year, at least his PFF rankings, I don't watch him. We're not very high. He was 91.2 in 2019, 86.2 in 2020, and since then 69 last year and 68 this year. So he's dropped off a bit the last couple of years. So I don't know. I mean, he might be falling off a little bit. He's had some injuries too, if I recall. So I mean, if you're asking me what would I rather have, a dominant offensive lineman or a dominant running back, I'm always taking the dominant offensive lineman. I just don't know if Nelson is that guy anymore, right? Because he's kind of dropped off a little bit. But the offensive line to me is always the most important part of an offense outside of the quarterback. I'm always going to say that it makes everybody better. You know, people complain about the wide receivers not getting down the field. You need to be able to hold up blocks. You look at the Philadelphia Eagles. I hate watching the Eagles play because every time I watch them play, Hurts has 5 seconds to throw the football.
Yeah.
Every time I watch the Detroit Lions play, Jared Goff has 5 seconds to throw the football. So I'm always, and we should know that as well as anybody as Giants fans. And I love Saquon, and I hope Saquon's back. But listen, when you have a dominant offensive line, all you got to do is go back at earth, wind, and fire. We had a 7th-round running back and 2 4th-round running backs, I think it was. And we had the best running attack in football because we had the best offensive line. So I'm always taking the dominant offensive lineman over the
because again, I love Barkley, my second favorite player on the Giants to Xavier McKinney. And although Thibodeau's he's really and I'm definitely a defensive guy.
Yeah.
But I sit there and again, I don't know where he would go in the draft, but I look at a guy like Travis Dye from Oregon. And I'm like, if you could get Travis Dye in the 3rd round, again, the combine has a lot to do with whatever. And I don't know, I didn't look at all the running backs. I haven't done any draft research. That's just a name that comes to my mind because I think Travis Dye is a good running back, but I don't think he's a 1st-round running back. He might not even be a 2nd-round running back. But if you can get a guy like Travis Dye and put a good offensive line in front of him, he's not going to be Barkley, but he may be extremely effective. So you don't know what these guys are going to do. I know. And listening to Patty, it seems like Barkley will be a harder one to negotiate with. So we'll see how it goes. I don't know.
I want him back. But I also understand the complications that come from the situation.
If he's going to get $16 million a year, the Giants may just say, "Okay, well, we're not giving you that."
Yeah, and listen, he's my favorite player on the team, and I don't want them to give him that. Because it would be a bad decision at this point in time. When you look at all the other holes on this football team, we can't give him $16 million. And the good news for us is I don't think Saquon's going to get $16 million a year because of how rich the running back free agency class
Pollard,
is.
Jacobs, there's a couple guys out there.
But all it takes is one team, though. And Saquon knows that, and I'm not going to blame Saquon if he goes out there and gets his money. I think we're going to tag him. I've thought that for a while. I think in the end,
they might tag and trade him if they can't negotiate. I mean, he might go to Buffalo. I mean, that's
I think we're going to tag him because I don't think they're going to come to an agreement before free agency starts. And I don't think the New York Giants are just going to let him go for nothing and get a comp pick for him. I think they'll tag him, try to negotiate throughout the offseason, see if they could come to some kind of agreement. If they can't, then maybe at that point, you look to explore options. But I hope he's back. I love Saquon, and he's a big part of this football team. I think he's going to be back. I think in the end they're going to figure something out.
I think it'll depend on Saquon.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah. I don't think he's going to get that $15, $16 million.
Yeah, I don't think he's getting McCaffrey money.
No, he's not
I don't
getting
think he's getting Zeke money.
Yeah.
But well, like again, it'll depend on what Saquon wants.
Yeah.
If Saquon wants to be back here, I think the Giants will offer him a fair deal. But I think, like Chris said, I think he may have a bigger offer, and it'll depend on him. If the Giants say to him, "Hey, listen, we'll give you 4 years, $56 million," and obviously they use incentives and everything else to cut the cap number down. But another team offers him 4 years, $68 million or $64 million, then it's going to be up to Barkley. Like, say the Giants offer him 4 years, 56, and the Bills offer him 4 years, 62. It'll be up to Barkley. Does he want $2 million extra a year to go play for Buffalo?
Yeah.
Or does he want to come back to the Giants? That's what's going to come down to.
Or they tag him.
The Giants will offer him a fair deal.
Yeah.
But somebody else might offer him more.
Or they tag him so they could exclusively negotiate with him, and maybe he's willing to sign 3 years, $39 million or something like that. But we'll figure it out in the offseason. That's going to be a huge topic of conversation, not just Jones, but Barkley as well. Dan says, I know Leo has been good, but could we cut ties with him to shore up multiple holes we have on the O-line, wide receiver, linebacker, cornerback? I don't see that happening. I think the fact
too much.
Yeah, well, they backed up money on his salary this year, and he probably was one of the few players they could have done that with due to how much he was making. But they further committed like another, I think it was like $8 million towards next year's cap, backloading money to be able to pay for other players on this roster this offseason. So that to me was a clear sign that Leonard Williams is probably coming back next year. And if anything, and I know they save like $12 million if they cut him, but whenever people talk about cutting players, Bad Dog, I ask myself, are you going to be able to find a player for the money that you're going to be saving by cutting that player that's as good as that player? I'm not arguing because he's due $32 million next year. I understand that because the Giants backloaded all this money. So he's due $32 million next year, but you're saving 12 if you cut him. Are you going to find a player that's as good as Leonard Williams for $12 million? Have you seen what some of these players are making today? There's no chance you're getting a player as good as Leonard Williams for $12 million. So I don't think we're cutting Leonard Williams. I think we're keeping Leonard Williams. And if anything, I think we're extending Leonard Williams to space out that money to create some cap space this year.
Yeah, that's something they could definitely do.
We'll see. But Lopes, man, thank you very much, man. I appreciate the $5 donation. And Jay says, non-football related question, but I need advice on some good low-calorie food I could eat, cook to lose weight. I'm trying to do a calorie deficit and just wanted to get your guys' insight. Thanks, y'all. Well, Bad Dog's the health nut. He's going to be better asked. I'll tell you this, and I got to get back on my diet. This job's been stressing me out. I'm going to get back on my diet soon. But I'll tell you what I did. I mean, for me, and it's a boring diet.
They're all boring.
It's not extravagant. It's not sexy. Yogurt, Greek yogurt in the morning, oatmeal. I wouldn't have oatmeal every day, but I'd have oatmeal to give me some energy in the morning at times. I think it's good if you have a sweet tooth like me. I went with the sugar-free Jell-O, which was only about 80 calories. Actually, I think it only had 10 calories, but it gave you a little bit of a feeling of having a sweet tooth. That helped me, and I fasted. I ate in an 8-hour window between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. Yeah, and I tried to limit. It's all about limiting calories. However you do it, that's what it comes down to. It's about caloric deficit. So if you could limit your calories to 1,500, 1,600 calories a day, and you weigh, I don't know how much you weigh, Jay, but say you weigh 250 pounds, you're going to lose weight real fast, even if you don't even exercise. Just based off of your weight, you usually multiply it by 10. So if you weigh 250, you burn, they say, close to 2,500 calories by doing nothing if you weigh 250 pounds. So if you're only intaking 1,500, that's 1,000 calorie deficit without exercise. And I think it's 7,000 calories you burn a pound. So you'd be burning a pound a week if you were only consuming 1,500 calories if you weigh 250 pounds, if you didn't exercise. If you exercise, that accelerates the process.
Right. It's 3,500 calories is a pound.
35. So you'd be burning 2 pounds.
So, yeah, I mean, really, Jason, it would depend on what you like to eat. I'll tell you, for me, and again, make sure you don't get in too good a shape, because then people start accusing you of stuff. Which is, I still find that hilarious, because like I said, in person, people are like, dude, you're too skinny. You need to eat something. Why don't you eat something? And then online, like, oh, bro, you must be on roids. Crack me up. Chicken is a big one, man. Not fried chicken, not baked chicken, no skin, skinless chicken breast. It is something that all bodybuilders live on. I like ground turkey, 99% fat free, but that's a texture thing, and it's dry, and you got to spice it up right. And the longer you do it, you will find things. Like I found Michael Corey on Instagram. I love the guy. He has all these low calorie, like cheesecake. Like I make a non-baked cheesecake with protein powder, Greek yogurt, which has 90 calories a cup for the vanilla yogurt, low-fat cream cheese, and some PB Fit peanut butter and artificial sweetener. It's you just got to find what works for you. You got to find what you like. But yeah, you have to be in a caloric deficit. Like I said, you can eat a lot of chicken. You can eat a lot of lean meat, the white meat, the like not pork because that's high in fat, not steak. Steak's high in fat too. But you got to find things that have low fat. That's a big thing because fat has 9 calories per gram. So the more you can definitely eat denser foods, you're going to get a lot of calories. You're going to be hungry. If you get protein and you eat fiber, you're going to fill your body up and you're going to be not as hungry. So that's what's worked for me. And Chris talked about the sweet tooth, which is why I live on this. You want to talk about fixing a sweet tooth? And people are like, oh, diet's always worse than regular soda. I'm like, who says who? Says the person that's 250 pounds telling me this is worse than regular soda. How is it worse? Like, every bodybuilder you see on Instagram, Greg Doucette, all the guys I follow, Greg Doucette, Noel Deitzel, they live on Coke Zero sugar, artificial sweetener. Why? Like Chris with the Jello, because there's no calories. Yeah. And it fills you up. It suppresses your appetite and it cures a sweet tooth. You'll find it. But what you got to do, you have to research and you just have to find a diet that you can do every day. I'm going to give
you another quick tip, and then we're going to get back to the Giants talk. That works for me when it comes to exercise.
Yeah, everybody's different too, so you got to find what works for you.
I use the treadmill, right? That's what I do when it comes to burning calories. One thing that I found worked for me was to make it less boring, because we all know the treadmill's boring, Bad Dog. Standing on that machine, walking, running, jogging, whatever you do.
I need music or I can't do it.
But one thing that really worked for me, I would go there when a sporting event was on. It wouldn't matter what it was. It could be golf, it could be tennis, it could be basketball, it could be baseball, it could be football, and I would play along with the game. When I say that, say it's football. Every time the guy would get a first down, I'd increase the speed by 0.2. Every time the team would punt, I'd increase the elevation by 1. And before you know it, you burn 800, 900 calories within an hour. So that's what worked for me. It made me so it was not bored. So I played along with the game. It kept me interested in the game. It kept my mind off of focusing on walking or jogging on a treadmill. So that's a tip I have for you. That worked for me. But that's just thinking outside the box.
Yep. Everybody's different. Everybody's body's different. Everybody responds differently. And again, you just got to find something you want to do every day, because otherwise, if you don't like it, you're not going to do it. Whether that's diet, whether that's the gym, whether it's, I don't care what it is. If you don't like it, you're not going to want to do it.
Yeah. And Lopes, man, thank you very much, man. Biggest fan from Portugal. Unbelievable season, man. Didn't expect that. Just waiting for next year's draft and the next one. Not worried about playoff wins. Stand up. Keep going, guys. In David, we try. I appreciate it, Lopes, man. Thank you so much for the support on both channels.
Giants fans in Portugal, baby. That's what I'm talking about.
That's diehard.
It's got to be like the middle of the morning in Portugal. Oh, that's Spain. That's right. That's not.
Yeah, Spain. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a diehard.
Across the sea. That's got to be early in the morning there, don't it? Or is that South America?
I want to say they're like a 6-hour difference.
So
I think they're about a 6-hour difference. So yeah, he's dedicated.
Yeah, yeah.
But we appreciate it, Lopes, man. Thank you so much. And as far as what you had to say about the playoffs, I mean, obviously there's going to be some fans that say they expected it. And kudos to them. I love those kind of fans that always are overly optimistic, always looking for the best, always thinking everything's going to work out. But I think most people that were coming in with a reasonable opinion of the team going into the year, I don't think anybody expected this year in terms of making the playoffs. And if you did, credit to you. But I did not. I did not see it coming. And that's what's made this year so special for me. And it hasn't been cheap wins. As a matter of fact, Bad Dog, we've talked about the 2000, and I don't have the schedule in front of me, but we've talked about how in the 2016 season, the Giants played a cupcake schedule. They did have 2 impressive wins. They swept the Cowboys. Those were very impressive wins that year. But we've had some impressive wins this year. And for a team that did not go out and spend like that team did, like that team had.
Yeah, they spent $200 million on defense.
You better make the playoffs when you go out and do that. And they didn't have so many impressive wins. The Cowboys wins were impressive, but this team beat the Ravens. This team beat the Packers when they were thought to be pretty high, and now the Packers are playing better. That Jaguars win looks a lot better than it did when we beat them.
They beat the Titans.
The Titans.
When they were healthy.
We beat Washington, who's a pretty good team. Should have beat them twice.
Should have
So,
beat Minnesota.
Should have beat Minnesota on the road. So the Giants have had some impressive showings this year. It's more than just like cheap wins, and they've been in almost every game they've played. Camera Dog Man, thank you very much, man. Did you see that video on Nick Gates' comeback? I did not. I think somebody tagged me on Twitter about it, but I didn't have an opportunity to watch it yet. But somebody tagged me on it on Twitter, and I will check it out. Nick Gates is the man. I'm glad that he's back and playing for the Giants, and hopefully, next year, hopefully he's back with the Giants. He's a free agent. I think he will be, but who knows, right? We have so many free agents, but I think he wants to be a Giant. I don't think it'll cost a whole lot to bring him back. So hope he's back, whether he's starting or whether he's not. I think he's so respected in that locker room. He's a great leader. Talking Eco says, win and in a year away from a second and third down quarterback sneak. It's amazing. Yeah, good call by you. It's amazing what the right type of coaching that believes in the players can do. Yeah, listen, it started, and we've said this several times, and I know several other people have said this on other platforms several times. For me, it's the culture change started with that 2-point conversion. Week 1 against the Tennessee Titans, because they showed confidence in their players, something that Joe Judge, quite frankly, didn't do. Very rarely, very, very rarely did you see Joe Judge go for it on 4th down, where he put the ball in his players' hands to give them an opportunity to win the football game. Dable set the tone week 1, and it's transferred over week to week to week to week. Going for it on 4th and 9 in a must-win game against Washington. Like, for everybody that says he doesn't believe in Daniel Jones, I just laughed after that. I'm like, 4th and 9, the biggest game the New York Giants have played since 2016 in the second quarter, and he's got Daniel Jones slinging the rock. So he showed confidence in his players from the start this year, and I think that's as big of a reason as anything else why this team has been as successful as they've been.
Yeah, listen, he believes in the players, and they believe in him. And again, these are the things that don't show up in the stats. They don't show up in the box score. That's, again, they have nothing to do with Madden ratings. There's more to football. I mean, I think I said that. I don't remember where I said this, but I don't remember if I said it in Patty's stream or another stream. I mean, to be honest with you, a lot of, and again, this is just this generation, because there's a lot of distractions. Okay. You have things like TikTok where there's 30-second videos, and your attention span you're not programmed to have a long attention span. And I think some fans don't actually sit down and watch the entire game for 3 hours, 3.5 hours. I think they may get distracted and do other things and are not paying attention. They just look at the box and go, oh, he sucks. But there's way more to football than just stats. The stats tell half the story. I say this all the time. You could be down 31-10 in the fourth quarter, and your quarterback ended up with 127 yards and 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, and they still lose, but his stats are great because the defense wasn't playing the same as they did when they shut him down at the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
So there's just so much more that goes into football than just statistics and just this and that. There's, like I said, there's locker room presence, there's intangibles, there's leadership. There's a lot of things that go into that you're not going to see in passing touchdowns. These are things, like I said, as a guy that's watched football for 38 years and watches every Giants game and watches every play, Daniel Jones can do some growing still. He still misses receivers. He still has some bad throws, but he's grown a lot. And you can look at the stats and go, he's the same quarterback, but he's not the same quarterback.
No, he's not. It's not even close. And Tommy, I'm glad I caught your comment in the chat. I was scanning over the chat, and you said that I missed your super chat, and I did. So I apologize. I went back and I caught it. He says this game better not require your halftime shades. That'd be nice to not have to make second half adjustments, get out to a 14, 17-point lead, and just sit on it in the second half. I will bring him to the game in case I do need him. But hopefully it does not require the second half shades, and hopefully the New York Giants get out with a nice comfy.
Chris, I see a comment here. I don't even know who the hell this is. In caps, it says, number one, your caps lock is stuck. You should probably undo that. Stop making excuses. Oh, let me read it the way he wrote it. Stop making excuses for Jones. Can I ask you why, when you speak facts, why is that an excuse?
It's not an excuse.
I'm having a hard time understanding when you say he's got no good receivers, he's got a beat up offensive line, he's under a new system for the 3rd time in 4 years. And you say all this stuff, and it's like you're making excuses. I don't know how that's an excuse. Those are facts. Why is that an excuse? An excuse is, he didn't feel good, or he didn't feel like playing, or whatever. Those are excuses. Oh, the officials,
It's
whatever.
not excuses. I hate when people say stop
I
making
just don't
excuses.
understand how
When
it's
you
an
speak
excuse.
like let me ask the chat. We're just talking about facts. Is it a fact, Bad Dog, that the New York Giants have probably the worst this is how I could identify that the New York Giants have the worst wide receiving core in football. Look around the league and tell me what teams would get if they traded their wide receivers to another team. And what do you think we would get for our wide receivers? If we offered Richie James right now, we might not even get the Mr. Irrelevant pick. If we offered Darius Slayton right now, what do we get? A 5th round pick? If we offered Hodges right now, what are we getting? A 5th round pick, 6th round pick? We have the worst wide receiving core in football. The worst. That's not an excuse. That's a fact. We have an offensive line with a struggling rookie right tackle he's going to become very good, but he's a rookie and he's struggling. And we have an interior offensive line that is abysmal. It's atrocious.
It's bad.
All you need to do is watch the games. Open your eyes. Those are not excuses. Those are facts. That's like talking about that you're driving with a car with 3 flat tires and using that as an excuse why you can't go 60 miles an hour.
Right.
I can't go 60 miles an hour because I got one tire that works.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's not excuses. That's facts.
It's a fact.
It just boggles my mind when people say that those are excuses. No, we're just talking about the overall team. That's not excuses.
It's just what it is. It's what he has to work with.
And Demir, man, thank you very much, man. Chris, I'm shaking with excitement for Sunday. Let's go Giants. Let's go, Demir, man. I can't wait, man. Biggest game we've had in forever. And let's go out there and get this win, man. I can't wait, man.
Hell yeah, man.
And Chris, man, thank you very much, man. My guys, Happy New Year to you and Bad Dog. Happy New Year's to you,
Happy
man.
New Year, man. Our guy,
you,
Chris. Happy New Year, buddy.
He's the man. And Grim Solo says committing 4 years, even 3 to Saquon would be wild. He's almost 26 with multiple injury-plagued seasons. Who has that ever worked out for? Understandable point of view. And we'll see if the New York Giants do it. If they give him a 3-year contract, I'm not going to look at it like they're committing 3. I think they'll have a 2-year out. I would be surprised if Joe Shane signed Saquon to a deal that he can't get out after 2 years.
Yeah.
I'd be surprised.
Yeah, I think if he does it, I mean, listen, I'm indifferent. I'm going to believe in what these guys believe in. They've proven that whatever they're doing right now has worked. They've turned the team around in a rebuild year, in a first year. So if they believe Saquon's the guy and they can get it done, it'd be great to have him back. But if they want to move on from him, I'm going to say, okay, they didn't believe that he was the best fit at that price. So I'm going to wait and see what they do. I hope Saquon's back, but if he's not, I understand. And I understand why people wouldn't want to give him 3 or 4 years. I completely understand that. No question. The only thing I can say is who it worked out for. And again, they're rare, but like Adrian Peterson's one guy I can think of that it worked out. Because
Derrick Henry's the one. He kind of worked out. I know he's been hurt though, but he's worked out relatively well. It can work.
It's far and few between. I get it.
Yeah, yes. And he's not built like Derrick Henry either, for being honest. Yeah. But it could certainly work out. And if they sign him, I'm going to pray that it does because I love him. Yeah. I want him back, but it's got to make sense. Depressed Giants fan, thank you very much, man. I could really see us losing Sunday, but I don't think it will happen. But I can easily imagine it happening just because of how bad we have been. Listen, I've said it all week. I'm not taking this team for granted. We're not good enough to take anybody for granted. We're not good enough to go into any game. I don't care who we're playing. I don't care if we're playing Georgia. In college, the college team, like we cannot take anybody for granted. We got to go out there. We got to play fundamentally sound football. We can't cough up 2 punts. We do that, we might lose. Can't happen. So I'm not taking anybody.
We give up a block punt. It can't happen. But all I know is depressed Giants fan, you're going to change your name after this week, buddy.
Oh, that's right. He said that, right?
Yeah, he's going to change it to optimistic Giants fan. If I can be optimistic about the Giants, anybody can be optimistic about the Giants.
He better change it. He better change it when we make the playoffs. And Ethan, man, thank you so much. I said in your Discord that we are going to go 10-7, but I got called an idiot. Well, kudos to you, man. I got called an idiot by people for some reason. I'm now banned from you. To be honest with you, Ethan, I'm very rarely in there. So I apologize for that, but kudos to you, man. I never in a million years would have thought this team would be going 9-8, 10-7.
Me neither. I thought 7-10. I thought that was an improvement.
Yeah.
From where they were.
We both had 7 wins, and I am thrilled to be wrong.
Me
So
too. Me too. When I don't think they're going to be good and they prove me wrong, I love that. I'd much rather get proven wrong because last year I think I picked them to win 10 games. And they
yeah,
won 4.
yeah, same. I think I had 9 and they won 4.
So
So yeah. Cino, what's going on, man? What's up, Dana? What's up, Bad Dog? Good to see you, Cino, man. Thanks for popping in.
you know,
And Chris says, Chris, I'm going to the game on Sunday. I'm in section 201. Will you be linking up with followers at the game? I'd love to meet. Yeah. So I was going to mention it on Twitter. I think you do follow me on Twitter because you've messaged me on Twitter. So I was going to mention it on Twitter. I'm going to be in the same spot I was the last time I went to the Giants game. Justin tailgates before every game. He's got season tickets from Talkin Giants, Bobby and Justin. Lot L16. It's in the back. That's where I'm going to be. So you want to meet up before the game? I'm going to be there really early. I'll probably be there like 8:30, 9 o'clock. Come by and say what's up, man. I'd love to meet a lot of you guys. So that'd be a lot of fun, Chris. Let's see. Mully says, I want Jordan Addison so bad. Yeah, I've looked at a few wide receivers. He's one of them because he's been getting a lot of exposure. People have him going in the first round in these mock drafts. Yeah, I like him. I watch USC, not so much for him, for the quarterback, because I just love watching him play. But Jordan Addison is a really good talent. And
there's a lot of good receivers, Molly. There's
yeah,
a lot of good ones.
I don't think there's
Jordan
high
Addison, there's Mario Williams, there's Marvin Mims, there's Quentin Johnston, who I love, Quentin Johnston, Jalen Hyatt. There's a lot of good receivers coming out in this year's class. So Jordan Addison certainly would be. It'd be a nice fit.
I don't think there's a Jamar Chase in this class. I don't think it's as rich as that one with Chase and Waddle. And
no, that was insane.
But like you said, there are good wide receivers.
There's good. It's deep. It's a deep. There's a lot of good receivers there.
Yeah.
And let's face it, any of the guys I just mentioned would be an upgrade over Richie James. Okay.
Of course. They better be. Thomas, man, thank you very much, man. Just so you're Laker live watching the Warrior game. I'm in the Bay. Go G-Men. I'll be on your live.
Thomas squared, baby. Let's go. Love it.
Awesome. That's awesome, Thomas. And Demir says, DJ haters want the team to fail to fit their narrative about Jones, but since the team has been winning, they don't know what to blame. I don't know. I don't know if that's the case for everybody. I think some people legitimately just think would be the best course of action to move on from Jones, and I could understand that mindset. The rookie salary, I get their argument. I don't think it's the best course of action. I'm not going to get into the specifics because I've given my opinion on it about 100 times, whether it be on YouTube, whether it be on Twitter. I think it's a sound reason why I feel that way. But yeah, I think it would be a mistake to move on from Jones. Now, again, like I've said several times, if you are enamored with a quarterback, take him. Odds are they're not going to be. We're going to be picking like 20. But if they are, you do it. The other thing is there's no guarantee you're going to know that quarterback, if you are enamored with one, picking as late as we are, is going to be there. So then you got to ask yourself, if you're Joe Shane, are you willing to give up supreme high-end draft capital to move up and get a quarterback when your team has so many holes on this roster, whether it be the interior offensive line, the wide receiving core? So that's why, to me, it doesn't add up. It's why I've thought for about 6-7 weeks, Daniel Jones will be the 2023 quarterback. And it seems like, Bad Dog, when you listen to now the talking heads, the mass media, seems like they're getting on board with that. I mean, now you're hearing Joe Beningo go on WFAN. He's saying that Daniel Jones should be getting MVP votes, which is far-fetched. I'm not saying he should. You're hearing Craig Carton come out this week and say that. Chris Sims has come out and said it. All former Giants now have said it. It seems like people are coming around to the idea that Daniel Jones is going to be back in 2023.
Yeah, and that's just funny. I see, people say, "Oh, you flip-flop on Jones." Yeah, what's your point?
Yeah.
What is your point? When Daniel Jones is playing bad, I don't have faith in the guy. When he plays good, I have faith in the guy. That's the way it goes. That's the way sports are. Okay. I don't just sit on an opinion and go, well, I'm going to be stubborn. And even if the guy is playing well, I'm going to sit there and go, he still sucks. I don't do that. And if I think a guy is good and then he ends up sucking like Baker Mayfield, I got to go, well, I was wrong about that. Or Jalen Hurts. I got to go, well, I was wrong about that. I'm not going to sit there and go, oh, Jalen Hurts still sucks because I said he sucked. No, I was wrong. Whoopity-doo. Whoopity-doo. I mean, Chris just mentioned 3 guys that make millions of dollars.
Yeah.
That have come around on Daniel Jones. So anybody does that. Anybody that has an open mind to things has no problem changing their mind. You are allowed to change your mind. I've said this before. If you have a job when you're 16, you work at McDonald's and you're salting French fries, and for some of these people, that might be a little bit too tough of a task. But if you're working at McDonald's at 16, what are you telling me? You can't ever change your mind? You have to stay there for the rest of your life? You date a girl or a boy and the relationship sucks, but you can't change your mind because you've made up because you started dating somebody. I don't get that. I don't understand. You're not allowed to change your mind. Why? Why are you not allowed to change your mind? I'm just curious why people are like, oh, you said this about Jones, and now you say this. That's right. Just like everybody else. It's like all the NFL analysts that get paid a ton of money. I just don't understand why changing your mind is bad about something. You're allowed to change your mind. You're human, man. You're allowed to make mistakes. You're allowed to change your mind. It's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good. I'm glad I had to change my mind. I'm glad he proved me wrong. I'm glad that I was wrong about Daniel Jones. I'm happy.
Listen, if people went into this year, some people made up their mind before the year started. That's apparent. That's obvious that they were going to want to move on from Daniel Jones no matter what. But if you went into the year like we did and we said we're going to see how he plays this year, we're going to give him the opportunity with a new coach to see how he grows, I was a man of my word. I didn't come out, I'll be the first to say before the year started, I was leaning that we're going to be drafting a quarterback. I thought we were going to win 6 or 7 games. I thought Jones would be improved, but not improved enough. And we'd be drafting a quarterback. That's not what happened. I went in with an open mind. You went in with an open mind. Yep. We saw drastic improvement. People say, what drastic improvement? Look at the stats. Like you said, the stats don't tell the whole story. The guy's been great in clutch situations. He's come up big in big spots, which is what I wanted to see from my quarterback this year. And I'm going to tell you what, he's as big of a reason as any individual player on this roster why we have the record that we do. That's just facts. Yeah. You replace Daniel Jones with Tyrod Taylor, we have 3 wins. That's just facts. Mm-hmm. All these games come down to the nitty-gritty. All these throws that Daniel Jones makes for the most part are into tight windows. Anybody that watches these games and thinks that he doesn't make a huge difference over whoever the backup quarterback would be is clueless. Or they just look at stats. It's just facts.
I agree. I mean, again, again, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. You can think whatever you want. Everybody sees things differently. I don't look at just the statistics. I look at the way the guys played, and I've seen a number of times this year that he has felt backside pressure, has stepped up away from it. Whereas last year, the year before, he would have not felt that, and he would have gotten drilled from behind and fumbled the football. And he's, sometimes he does. Like I said, there's still growing to do. Daniel Jones, to me, is not a finished product. But the fact that he has improved, it's taken 4 years. I guess some guys take longer to develop. I wanted him to develop after year 3 because he was in the second year with Joe Judge. And I thought Joe Judge did a good job his first year here. And then they went out and they got Kenny Golladay. So I just expected him to be better. And when he wasn't, then I was like, well, now I just give up. I mean, now I'm like, well, the hell with it. He ain't going to be good. Here we go again. We're starting all over with a new head coach, a new front office, and they're probably not going to keep him here because he hasn't done anything. They haven't picked up his 5th-year option. It's not looking good for him. But like I said, his 4th year, so he's not throwing 30 touchdowns. He has 18 total touchdowns. He has, I think, 8 turnovers the entire year. And Dak Prescott has, 10, 11 interceptions in, 4 less games than Daniel Jones. Now, granted, Dallas is a better team, but I wouldn't say Dak Prescott's had a better year. I mean, if you let Daniel Jones throw to CeeDee Lamb, who is just insane. He's just insane.
He's great.
But again, people are going to see what they want to see. If they still want to harp on Daniel Jones's shortcomings, then harp on him. I know everyone's like, you're negative. I'm not negative. I just, like I said, I call it the way I see it. There was nothing to be positive about the last 5 years here. This is a horrible team. And all I ever wanted them to do is win. That's all I care about. We're winning. And I'm happy that we're winning. He doesn't need to have. Listen, Chris, we lost Sunday, right?
Yeah.
I was pissed off that we lost. What were Daniel Jones' statistics in that game?
His best statistical game of the year, probably.
Correct. So what do stats matter? What he threw a touchdown. He converted a 2-point conversion. He threw for 330 some odd yards. He threw an interception, which, was a good play by the corner, undercut it. And it wasn't the best throw. It was a we can't have turnovers inside the 20, but whatever, it happens. Tom Brady throws interceptions. Okay. He had a great statistical game and we lost.
Yeah.
So I'd rather him throw for 210 and not turn the ball over and not score a touchdown. And we win 14-10 as opposed to what happened Sunday. I'm happy that he played better. It gives me more confidence that he can throw the ball when we need to, but I'd much rather him have lesser stats and the team win the game than him have 330 passing yards and we lose.
Of
That's
course.
the way I look at the
Of
Giants. I
course.
don't just look at Daniel Jones. He's a huge part of our success or failure, but there's other parts of the team. I just want to win. I don't give a damn about the statistics. That's the only stat I care about is the score. And when I have fantasy football, I mean, I want them to get, obviously. But when it comes to the Giants, I just want to win. I don't care about anything else.
That's all you should care about.
That's it.
John, man, thank you very much. Just stand up, my friends. Hope everyone here has a great new year, and it's nice going into the new year with a good GM and head coach. Let's go, Giants. Let's get this win. Let's go, John. Happy New Year to you, John. Happy New Year to everybody.
Absolutely.
And Stanley says, hey, Bad Dog Chris, I think Jalen Hyatt and Josh Downs are the best wide receivers in the NFL draft class. A lot of people like Hyatt.
I like Hyatt.
Yeah, a lot of people like Hyatt. I don't think he played tonight. I was watching the Tennessee game, actually.
No, a lot of guys set out.
Yeah, I don't think he played. I was watching it before we went live.
That always happens in bowl games. Guys sit out. They just...
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, man. And I don't know much about him. And I think he was the starting quarterback. Both quarterbacks in that game impressed me tonight that I was watching. And neither one of them, I think, are draft eligible this year. One is a true freshman for Clemson. I can't remember the kid's name, but he's
better than ukulele.
He's really good.
Actually, ukulele. Uncle Luke calls about you eat ukulele. He's better than him.
He was making some silly mistakes, but you could see the talent. It's obvious. And the kid for Tennessee, I think he was the starting quarterback before Hooker got the job because I think he got hurt, they said. That guy has a friggin' cannon. Yeah, but I can't remember his name off the top of my head. He's got a cannon.
I always worry about that type of offense in the NFL.
Oh, I'm not saying I want either one of them, but I was impressed with the quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Irish Rover, man, thank you very much, man. Happy New Year. Tainted Dog in the chat. Giants win on Sunday 24-10, and we go to the playoffs. I thought we would win no more than 5 games. I was wrong and happy I was wrong. Of course you should be happy you were wrong. Go Big Blue. Thanks for popping in.
That's another thing. It's funny being on YouTube. Like when people, like, you go back 3 years, like my Jalen Hurts reaction when I laughed that they got him, and someone comes back like 2 days ago and goes, "Oh, I bet you're not sorry now." I'm like, why are you going back 3 years? Who cares? Like, I don't know. People make such a big deal about you being wrong. I don't know what I don't know what the hell kind of satisfaction that gives somebody. Oh, look at this video is 3 years old. I'm going to go back and let him know he was wrong. Okay.
Yeah, who cares?
Okay.
I care.
Well, who cares?
Danilo says, I just told my girl the dream that I'm going to chase in 2023 is to watch the Giants live in New York. I'm going to invite you guys to the biggest tailgate ever. Happy New Year's from Brazil. That's awesome, man.
Let's go. Brazil. And I love it. Portugal, Brazil. We know we got guys in London.
Are we streaming the World Cup right now, Bad Dog?
We got guys from New Zealand, Australia, Germany. It's awesome. It's so cool. It's so cool. That's awesome to know.
Yeah.
Let's get it, baby.
Oh, God. We still got this guy. The people, the Jones hate, it is what it is. Like we've said several times, it makes us less and less happy to come on YouTube, even when the team is winning, because you just get these fans who just come into our streams. They come on the Twitter and they just spew Jones. Like this guy came into the stream, and I just keep saying Kobe Trent, pop up. He came into the stream just to destroy Daniel Jones the entire night, as if that's what he has to do with his life. We're winning football games. Daniel Jones is going to be your quarterback in 2023. Get used to it.
If that makes you happy, if for some reason bashing Daniel Jones makes you feel better about yourself, then have at it. Have at it.
I said it on Twitter. I will bet anybody any amount of money they want. Daniel Jones is going to be the quarterback in 2023. Whether or not you want to accept that, that's up to you. But he's going to be your quarterback in 2023.
It doesn't matter. You can hate Daniel Jones. That's fine. I mean, I don't understand. I don't understand why you'd want to. Why would you want to root it? He's a Giant. Well, that's what I can't figure that out. Yeah. I don't understand why people. I've said this before. I don't care what kind of fan you are. I don't care how many hats you have or jerseys or how many games you go to. Your fandom's in your heart. Do you root for the Giants? If the Giants are bad and you want them to tank, if the Giants won 3 games at this point in the year and you were rooting for them to lose the last 2, I'm not going to get mad at you for that. I personally can't root against them. I can't root for them to lose. I just don't have that in me. But if they were 3-13 right now, or 3-12, I'm sorry, right now, and they did lose, it wouldn't hurt my feelings. Okay. Like last year wasn't hurting my feelings that we lost. We sucked. But the people that would rather their opinion be right and they want to root against the player on the team or against the team to say, I told you so. I don't know what that accomplishes. We're on the internet. There are billions of people on the internet. And just because you're right, what do you want? A medal? You want a cookie? I don't get it. Like, I don't understand. I don't understand that way of thinking. Again,
Yeah.
that's just me. I have a hard time understanding. I'm going to root against a team. That'd be like me saying, I hope the Giants don't win again because I said they were going 7-10. No.
Yeah.
I want to be wrong about that.
Sarkon says, what are the Giants going to do with the O-line? I don't know if you're talking about this year specifically or if you're talking about the future. This year, I mean, I could tell you what they're going to do. It came out today. It looks like Feliciano is going to stay at the center spot, at least for this week. And they said that they're going to alternate. I think it was Gates. Gates is going to play some at the guard. They're going to swap in and out. So that's what they're going to do. What would I prefer? I prefer Bredesen at the guard and Gates at the center because Feliciano sucks. That's what I'd prefer. Now, I don't necessarily think that Bredesen and Gates are incredible, but I think they are at best okay starting offensive linemen, but they're significant upgrades over John Feliciano.
Upgrade,
But it doesn't seem like that's the route that the New York Giants are going to take this year. As far as the future goes, I mean, I think we got our bookend tackles. I know right now Evan Neal's struggling, but I think he's going to be.
We got our bookend pass rushers too.
We got our bookend pass rushers. As far as the interior goes, I think we're going to need at least one more very good piece on the interior. You hope that Azudu could develop, and maybe Gates could be a solid center. Maybe he could be a solid guard. But we definitely need one really strong piece still in that interior, and hopefully Azudu.
And I think they'll get that in the draft. I think they'll address the interior offensive line and wide receiver. I do think that those are the most. Again, it's me. Who the hell am I? Freaking nobody. But that's what I think the Giants need. And we'll see what Shane believes that they need. But I do think getting Daniel Jones, a number one wide receiver, is optimum to help the offense. And I also think getting that interior offensive line cemented, because you do have your bookend tackles and you build that line from the outside in, to get a center that would go, that could be a really good center, like a Tyler Linderbaum or a Creed Humphrey. I mean, I don't think you're going to get anybody that good in this draft. Right. But even a guy like Tyler Biadasz, who was struggled at the beginning, but ended up being a pretty solid center for Dallas. It's a guy we liked, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
Cesar Ruiz was a guy we liked that went to New Orleans as a center. But if you get a good center and you get a good offense, a number one receiver for Daniel Jones, the offense is immediately going to be better.
Of course.
So, and the defense is ahead of the offense right now. We're not the dominant defense, but we're a good defense. We're a good defense with a lot of potential.
Yeah.
It's had a lot of injuries. We lost our best secondary guys for a long time. We haven't had McKinney in weeks. We haven't had Dory Jackson in weeks. So you have, and most of the year, we have not had Dexter Lawrence, Leo, Tibbs, and then Aziz in the field at the same time. All six of them definitely not been on the field at the same time. McKinney, Adoree, and then the four I just mentioned. You put those six out there, that's a solid defense.
I think
here and there, but
I think we're two pieces away on the defense from having
a dominant defense,
a potentially dominant defense.
Another corner and an interior
middle linebacker and a corner. I think if you add that, this defense could be really special because we've got the edges, and that to me is the most important. That and a lockdown corner are the most important parts of a defense. We've already got the pass rush. I think we need a dominant corner for sure. Maybe even two, because I don't know if Adoree Jackson is going to be here for more than another year or two because he's a free agent coming up in the next couple of years. So that's an area we definitely need to focus on. Maybe a guy like Flott develops, though. I'll tell you what, I like what I've seen out of Flott. And I know there's been times where Flott's gotten cooked. He's a rookie. He's developing. He played slot in college. I think he projects better to be an exterior corner at the pro level because of his arm length, his size, his speed. I think this coaching staff could develop Flott into a pretty good starting cornerback. And we'll see if they're able to do that. But regardless, I still think cornerback's a need for this team. Middle linebacker on the defensive end. On offense, it's obvious. Wide receiver, interior offensive line. Those
I agree. And again, I believe in what Joe Shane's going to do. So we'll see. But like I said, there's a lot of good receivers. You can take any of those guys. All the guys you mentioned, we didn't mention any of the guys from Ohio State. Well, you can't get Marvin Harrison Jr., which I would love. He's not eligible. So I wish the Giants had somebody's pick next year. It's really bad.
I
And
wish
we
you
could
could
get him.
trade future draft capital for for a
That's what
player.
I'm saying. I wish we
Yeah.
had somebody's like top 5 pick
Yeah.
next year so we could get that guy.
Oh, dude, he's gonna be ridiculous.
Yeah.
Eric, man, thank you very much. Says Kobe is mid, Brilly. Let's get this W. Well, I
He's
saw
just
people
a hater, man. It is what it is. There's haters out there. People hate me. People hate Chris. People just, it's just if they have hate in their heart, they have hate in their heart. And
listen,
I've always
at the end of the day, and I
they
think
don't like themselves, man.
I think you say it all the time, Baddog, and it's so true. You learn this more and more as you're on social media, whether it be Twitter, YouTube, whatever. If you have haters, you're doing something right.
Absolutely.
That's all there is to it, because people hate what people. If people hate you, it means you're somewhat successful,
and they're jealous of success.
They're not going to hate somebody who's doing nothing.
Correct.
So that's the way. Whether it's an athlete, whether it's an actor, whatever.
Absolutely.
So that's the way.
If you're a nobody, nobody's going to care. But if you are somebody, I always say I just appreciate the fact that they even watch. So obviously, if you got someone that hates you, just think about it. They don't like you, but they're taking their time to watch somebody they don't like to say, I don't like you. Like, I don't know what that, I don't know what that accomplishes. There's a lot of people that I don't like. I don't like their content. I don't like what they do. I don't like a celebrity. I'm not going to go to somebody's Twitter and go, you suck. I'm not wasting my time. I just ignore it. Okay, I don't like you. I'm not going to waste my time. Why would I waste my time with something I don't like? That is so counterproductive in life. I don't get that. Again, it's just, I'm a Gen Xer. I'm old. I guess I'm from a different generation. I think differently. I don't know. I can't figure it out. I don't try to figure it out. I just mind my own business. I stay in my own lane. And I just keep going.
You just going.
Listen, I made it 80 minutes before I had to pee. Proud of myself. I'll be right back.
Baddog's going to go hit the latrine. I'm going to catch up with the chat. Thank you to everybody for being here. Mark says, hey, fellas, Happy New Year. I'll be there on Sunday. Stand up. Mark, come on by. I don't know what time you're going to get there. I'm going to get there really early. I'm going to the game. I'm going to be in lot L16, which is where Justin Pennick from Talkin' Giants, great podcast. I'm sure you've seen him before. Bobby does the film breakdowns. Justin's the analytics guy. So I'll be over there. So if you're going to the game, swing by. I'm going to be there at like 8:30, 9 o'clock, be hanging out there until about 12 before the game. I don't think it's like catered or anything, but bring a couple of beers, whatever, hang out. Let's talk Giants football. But if I don't see you, enjoy the game. Stanley, man, thank you very much. He says, check out Bijan Robinson of Texas. He's the best running back in the draft. I actually watched Texas last night. I don't know if he played or not. I've been watching a lot of the bowl games, Stanley. I've watched a lot of college football this year. I haven't watched a whole lot of Texas. I did watch their game yesterday. Ewers, the quarterback, he looked like he's got a good arm. He's going to be replaced, obviously, by Manning next year. But I don't know if he played. But, yeah, I don't think we're drafting an early running back, though, if that's what you're getting at. And Diego, man. Oh, man. And I saw a lot of people in the chat be like, $2,500. I don't think it's that much, but because it's pesos. Because it says MX, so it's
it's like 100.
But yeah, when you get red, generally it's about.
It's awesome. Whatever it is, it's awesome.
Yeah. I just don't want people to think a guy just give me $2,500. But
I can tell you guys, you can't give more than 524 hours on.
Okay,
YouTube.
Is that what it is? Whatever it is, regardless, Diego, thank you.
He's the man.
Incredible generosity. Thank you for staying up and watching. I don't even know. We were talking about what time is it in Mexico? You're good with the times.
Mexico's in North America or South America, but it's going to be about the same. It depends where he is in Mexico, but he's not going to be early. I mean, Mexico's south of us. He may be earlier, maybe.
Okay. Oh yeah.
What depends on where he is in Mexico.
Either way, thank you for being here, Diego. He's the man. You're the man.
All the time.
He wants JSN. That's how I say it, from Ohio State, the wide receiver. He had a reception percent of 84.8% and a 90% on contested catches. Great off the breaks and off the line of scrimmage, which allows him to get good separation. My pro comp for him would be Keenan Allen, not a great athlete, but elite route runner. Yeah, I mean, that's what I've watched him. He hasn't played a whole lot this year because he's been hurt, but I've watched his highlights. I've watched some of the film breakdowns because everybody was talking about him before the year started. He was being mocked as a top 5 guy in this year's upcoming draft before the college year started this year. And listen, Ohio State has some of the best wide receivers the country has to offer year in and year out. And he was at the top of that list. He got hurt this year, but That's the only thing I worry about, though, Bad Dog. Like you look at Kadarius Toney, he had injury problems. Wan'Dale Robinson's already, gotten hurt here with the New York Giants. So that's specifically at that position. That's the one thing I really worry about. He already has an injury history at the collegiate level, so that's what I'm a little about. But in terms of a talent, he's top notch.
There's a couple of Ohio State wide receivers that I got no problem with him either.
No, he's great. And Jack, man, thank you so much, man, for the $10 donation. What's the name of the other guy this year who's had a great year for Ohio State? Not obviously Marvin Harrison, but who's the other one?
I can't remember the other guy's name, but yeah, they always have a great crop of wide receivers.
I can't remember. He got more of an opportunity because JSN got hurt. JC, man, thank you very much, man. Draft another pass rusher for the rotation. You can never have enough pass rushers.
No.
Maybe Ellerson Smith further develops, but yeah.
Egbuka, I think is the guy's name. That's
on Ohio State, yeah.
Yeah, Emeka Egbuka. That's the guy.
He was leading the team in receptions for a long time. He was having a big year.
Yeah, let's see. He's I think that's who
the guy. That's the quarterback from Tennessee I saw tonight. Milton. I think his name is Joe Milton. Milton is the quarterback from Tennessee throwing piss missiles. Also, have you checked out Zay Flowers? Because wide receiver Antonio Brown, I have not.
Zay Flowers is another name I've heard. Like I said, there was a lot of good. There's a lot of good receivers in this draft. The Giants will be able to get one at 20.
They showed a because I was impressed. It's rare that I watch a college game. Well, it's not rare, but every once in a while you'll watch a player and you're like, oh my God, like that guy's got high-end ability. And I know nothing about this Milton guy. I don't watch Tennessee regularly, and I don't know what people are saying about him. He wasn't even the starter this year. I think he got hurt, they said on the broadcast. They showed a clip of him before the game because it's the Orange Bowl. He threw an orange. He threw an orange 110 yards before the game, and he was making throws in this game that I was eye-popping throws. In terms of arm strength. He definitely has A-plus arm strength, but I don't know a whole lot about him. Chef Man, thank you very much. He says, DJ is the guy. He reminds me of a Peyton Eli during interviews. I think he'll be fine. We will win a Super Bowl with DJ if you ask me. Go Big Blue. Love it, man. I hope you're right, man.
We win a Super Bowl. I'm telling you, our draft reaction is going to be on America's Game.
Yeah.
I already know that's going to happen. I'll never live that down as long as I live.
Listen, nothing would make me happier than to see Daniel Jones win a Super Bowl.
Oh, hell yeah.
And
see our reaction, and they go, yep, not one of my better moments.
I would gladly look like the biggest fool on planet Earth if DJ won a Super Bowl. Yeah. So
I look like that anyway, so you might as well add a Super Bowl to it. Let's go.
Especially with all the hate that he gets from a lot of members of the media, and since he's been here, and it'd be great. And hopefully he does. That'd be great. Let's see what we got. What are the odds that Kenny Golladay is involved at all? The remainder of zero.
Slim to none.
Zero.
Unless he's pressed into action, I don't see
at this point, Beto, Kenny Golladay is who he is. Yeah, I'm done hoping that he's
I thought he would. I thought he got it. I was hopeful too.
Yeah, but he is who he is. He's a washed up wide receiver that is not very good. I remember, seeing videos before the year started. People were saying his route running, he looked lazy, yada, yada, yada. That turned out to be the case. He's not the player that we thought we were getting.
Got paid, man.
I'm not sitting Isaiah Hodgins for Kenny Golladay. Hell no.
He got paid. I'm telling you, my buddy never got back to me about, I'm dead ass serious about, and again, this is for my fantasy championship. Maybe we're talking $600 here. Okay. I mean, it's not a ton of money, but that's a lot to me. I'm dead ass serious about starting Isaiah Hodgins over Devontae Adams. I'm not kidding. Devontae Adams against San Francisco with freaking Stidham, I don't like it, but I feel like Isaiah Hodgins could get a touchdown or two against Indianapolis. I'm not lying. I am dead ass serious about doing it.
You do what you want to do, but I feel like that's the type of move that if you make it and you lose because you made that move, you won't live it down for years.
I know.
I understand the logic because Jarrett Stidham is the quarterback. Adams,
and they're playing San Francisco.
They're playing San Francisco, but you do what you want. But if it was my team, I'd have to go with the guys that got me there.
I understand. Devontae Adams definitely got me through the last few weeks. He's been bad, with Derek Carr. And my brother-in-law, who is a Raiders fan, has said to me, he goes, he quit. He goes, he quit, man. He's not playing hard. He goes, it's when they lost that one game, I forgot what game it was. He goes, he hasn't played hard since. Yeah. And maybe he hasn't. I don't know. I don't watch the Raiders. I just watch his stats. So I don't know what the deal is. He watches the Raiders. So that's plays a big part of my mind. That's going to be a game time decision. I'm dead ass serious. I mean, I look at the projections, and again, projections are just whatever they are. But Davante Adams is projected to get about 11 points, according to CBS Sports, 10.91. Isaiah Hodgins is 8.66. There's 2 points difference.
Yeah.
I don't know. The guy that
Hodgins could have a big game. He could.
It's the matchup that worries me about Davante Adams.
Yeah. But the thing I'll say,
Gardner Minshew's playing, though. I do have Gardner Minshew.
I don't know if I love Hodgins' matchup either, because I don't know if the New York Giants are going to try to sling the rock.
It's true,
because they're playing a bad offense. But listen, Hodgins played well for the Giants. He's played great. So
I don't really have anything else. That's what sucks. He had Dak Prescott. I hate that Prescott threw that second touchdown, but he didn't have. He was projected to get 22. He got 19 because he turned it over 3 times. So that actually helped us. I think I have Zach Moss. I mean, it's hard to get running backs. We had Antonio Gibson. He's hurt. And Zach Moss, he's only projected to get 6.6. I'll tell you, the thing that could win this for us, Chris, Baker Mayfield. I don't have Baker Mayfield. But him going to the Rams and Tyler Higbee.
He's been playing well with him.
Yeah, he got me 25.5 points last week. You get points like that from your tight end, you're winning.
Yeah.
It's tough. I'm sure we'll end up playing Davante Adams, but man,
it's the safer play.
It's also like, man, you make a move like that and you win, you're like, damn, yeah, I'm a genius.
But if you lose, you'll never hear the end of it.
Me and my buddy have thrown caution to the wind all year, and it got us here. So
yeah,
we'll see. Play by feel. I guess I'll have to see how I feel in my gut on Sunday.
Brandon, maybe you'll pull a Dable move. Brandon, man, thank you very much. He says, happy holidays, you guys. NFC race is heating up. Happy holidays to you. Brandon's been a long-time supporter of both of ours. Huge Seahawk fan. I think this is just the way I feel right now, the way the teams are playing, and it's football. Your opinion changes every week. Right now, I think the Giants have to be the clear-cut favorite out of the whole bunch to make the playoffs. They control their own destiny with 1 win in their last 2 games. They're playing probably the worst team in one of the worst teams in football right now, as the team is currently constructed with the Indianapolis Colts on short rest at home. So let's say the Giants are getting in. That leaves 1 spot for the Seahawks, the
Washington,
Lions, and the Packers. Now, the Packers play the toughest schedule probably because they play the Vikings, and then I think they play the Lions. But if you ask me which team is the best out of those 4 right now, and again, this changes week to week, but right now it's the Packers, and it's not even close. If I was the 2 seed, the Niners or the Vikings, whoever's going to get that, the Packers were the last team I'd want to see because they're hot right now, and you never want to play the hot team going into the playoffs. But I don't know if they're going to get in because their schedule is a bit challenging. So it'll be interesting to see how that all plays out between the Lions and Giants and everybody else. But if I had to pick right now, Bad Dog, I think I'm going Giants. Packers are going to be the last 2 teams that get in.
I'll be honest. As long as the Giants win, I don't give a damn.
I don't care. Exactly. I don't care.
I don't care. I don't care.
It would be super cool, though, if the Giants and Washington both got in, and then you had a complete NFC East.
Oh, that'd be awesome. I would love that. If I'm rooting for somebody, I would be rooting for Washington just because I think that scenario would be great.
Yeah, it's entirely possible. I think if things break a certain way. So
I think Washington is done. They ran into 2 really tough teams, and the fact that Carson Wentz is starting, I don't have faith in Carson Wentz. Hasn't played in how many weeks, and I don't think he's better than Taylor Heineke. If he is, it's like by this month. They weren't winning with Carson Wentz at the beginning of the year. Heineke came in, and Heineke's not great. And again, this speaks to who cares about the stats. He was finding ways to win games. I mean, obviously Heineke's fallen on tough times, but if you're Ron Rivera, do you think that Carson Wentz gives you a better chance against San Francisco? You think it was Taylor Heineke's fault that you lost at San Francisco? San Francisco's the best team, one of the best teams in the league.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think
to me, the Carson Wentz move just screams of desperation for
Maybe
Rivera.
just trying to get the Washington out of a funk.
I think he's gone at the end of the year. And I know Washington's surprised. They got hot for a bit.
Who's gone?
Rivera. Yeah. I think they're going to fire because he's been there now for what? This is his third year.
Third or fourth.
You look at the Washington situation right now, and I don't know which coaches are going to be. Well, Sean Payton will be available, but there'll be some attractive coaches available, I'm sure. You look at the Washington situation. I mean, how attractive of a destination is that going to be for a potential head coach? Because you look at Washington's team, they've got everything almost in place outside. They need to buff up the offensive line a bit.
They need a quarterback.
They need a quarterback. And that head coach is going to be able to come in. He's going to have free reign to choose his quarterback. They're going to be picking relatively early. If they don't make the playoffs, they're probably going to have a last place schedule. I think that's a very attractive destination for a potential coach, which is exactly why I think they're going to fire Rivera. Unless they make the playoffs. If they make the playoffs, yeah.
He still might be gone.
Yeah, he still might be gone. Glocks says, what's up, Dana Baddog? What playoff matchup do you guys want to have? I want the Vikings. I feel like we got the best of them Sunday, but we couldn't capitalize. Listen, nothing to do with yesterday. Just talking about from the matchup that gives us the best chance to win. It's one of two teams. It's the Vikings or the 49ers. It's not even close. The Vikings are a much more beatable team than the San Francisco 49ers. If you watch my channel from day one this year, I had the Niners going to the Super Bowl before the year started, and that's when they had Trey Lance starting at quarterback and a complete unknown. And it wasn't because of Trey Lance. It was because of their overall roster.
This is before they got McCaffrey, too.
Before they got McCaffrey. The San Francisco 49ers are a clear example of what a complete roster can do for a quarterback. Brock Purdy was Mr. Irrelevant. The guy's winning football games, and he's looking good doing it because they have a great all-around roster. The 49ers are the last team I'd want to see. Matter of fact, I'd rather see the Eagles than the San Francisco 49ers. I think the 49ers are the class of the NFC, even with Purdy at quarterback. Now, they may not win because Purdy obviously limited experience and yada, yada, yada. But I don't want to see the 49ers. I'd much rather see the Minnesota Vikings.
I completely agree. No doubt about it. Jones had his best game. I thought the Giants' offense was really good. I mean, they turned it over. The Giants had 2 turnovers inside the 20, and Richie James dropped a third down inside the 20. I mean, the Giants' offense, this was the best game the Giants' offense, like their offense actually looked good. Most of the time it looks good, maybe 1 or 2 drives. It looked good pretty much all day against Minnesota. And yeah, I'm not a believer in Kirk Cousins. And I'm not saying that Brock Purdy's better than Kirk Cousins. I just don't believe in Kirk Cousins in big spots. I never have. He's never proven that he can do it. Now, maybe he does. The Vikings can definitely beat us. I mean, don't get me wrong. Justin Jefferson's one of the best in the league. And Dalvin Cook can play. Like, Minnesota's a good team. San Francisco's an elite team.
San Francisco is the best, in my opinion, excluding the quarterback, which is the most important position on a football team, which is why the Bills are probably the best team and the Chiefs are probably right there with them.
The Bengals.
Yeah, because their quarterbacks. But in terms of team, I don't even think it's close. I think the 49ers have the best team in football by a decent-sized margin.
Because their defense is ridiculous.
They have elite pass rushers. They have elite weapons. They have a very good line.
They have a great coach.
They have a great coach, a great offensive play caller. So, if they even had an average quarterback, they'd be by far the favorites to win. If Jimmy Garoppolo was still their quarterback, they're my pick to win the Super Bowl. You know, with Purdy, he's a complete unknown.
We'll see. I think that if the Eagles and San Francisco matched up, I probably would take San Fran. Again, I just think that because of their defense, I think their defense could keep Jalen. I think they could get pressure on Jalen Hurts, and I think if you got pressure on him, that's how you're going to beat them. But if Jalen Hurts is allowed to move around in the pocket or escape the pocket, and your receivers have time to run around, you're in trouble. So, like us, you saw that in the first game. We couldn't get to Jalen Hurts, even when from what I heard, because I didn't have any damn cable that day, they couldn't get there, and guys are wide open because it's hard to cover A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith for 5 seconds. It's hard. When you got a guy like Bosa and you got the guys that San Francisco got, and they're going to put pressure in his face and make him make a quick decision. That's how turnovers happen. So that'd be a great matchup. You'd have a high-flying offense against a really smash-mouth, dominant defense, and usually defenses went out.
I'm going to tell you, even with Purdy, I think they match up very well against the Philadelphia
because
Eagles.
of their defense.
Because I think they
and I think San Francisco could run the ball against Philadelphia.
Yeah, I think they have the pieces on their defense that could force Jalen Hurts to have to play from the pocket.
That's what I mean.
And when you do that,
that's what you have to make them do.
Yeah, when you do that,
you got a better chance.
I think he's going to make mistakes. So
yeah, and again, Philadelphia doesn't have a great run defense, and they got Christian McCaffrey. It's pretty good.
Yeah. But hey, you never know. That's why you play.
No, you don't know. And they
if
might
we play the 49ers, I'm going to talk myself into a chance that we can win. So, John, man, thank you very much, man. Love you, boys. G-Man will catch playoff fire. Let's go, John.
Oh, I'm looking forward.
No, you're a huge Knicks fan. I'm going to be calling a lot of Knicks games after football season, man. But thank you so much for being here, and let's go and get these wins, man. Let's get this win on Sunday. Victor says, you guys think Kafka could get a head coach opportunity this offseason? I'm going to say no. I do think Kafka is very underappreciated by a lot of members of this fan base, which you expect. People always hate the offensive coordinator, and there's times where he doesn't, make the best play calls where you get a little bit upset. But I do think he's a very good play caller overall. When you factor in all the limitations, like we talk about the limitations for Daniel Jones, he has the same limitations. And not that I'm calling Daniel Jones a limitation, because I think Daniel Jones has proven now at this point he's a good quarterback. But even Daniel Jones is a limitation in himself for Kafka for the simple reason he's new to his scheme. So that's a limitation for Kafka. He's got a quarterback learning his offense in the first year. So next year, you get Kafka some more weapons. You get Daniel Jones more experience in his system. Evan Neal matures more as a right tackle. I think you're going to see a much more innovative, explosive offense. But the New York Giants red zone offense is proof enough for me that he is a much better play caller than Jason Garrett. We're 8th in red zone offense. Last year, we were 32nd. And that, to me, is where the true colors of a play caller comes out more so than anywhere else. That's where it's hardest to move the football inside the 20. You have the extra defender, on the goal line and everything else. So that, to me, is I'm very encouraged with Kafka. I know some fans seem to be down on him. I like Kafka. I think he's done a good job overall.
Yeah, I would be surprised if he got a head coaching job this offseason, but if the Giants do go out and they do get a center and they do get a number one receiver, and you see the offense go from where it is now to not a good offense. It's not a terrible offense. It's not good, though. If you see the offense, Daniel Jones has definitely got better. He's taken a major step forward. But if you see the offense as a whole take a step up next year, I don't know what we average points-wise. I think we average like 20 points, 20 and a half, 21, somewhere in there.
Yeah,
if this team goes from 20.6 points a game to 24.6 points a game next year, or 25 points, then you'll be like, look at what he did. Look at what he did from one year to the next when he had these guys to work with. Look at how much they improved. That's going to get him a head coaching job. I don't think it happens this offseason, but if the Giants do take a major step forward offensively and they are better next year, say they go 12-5 and they get to the divisional round even, or they get to the NFC Championship, and I'm just being extremely optimistic because I don't know what the hell is going to happen next year. But that scenario, he could definitely get a coaching job.
Yeah, the Giants this year are 20th in points scored per game at 20.7.
That was close.
But when you look at and points are down around the NFL, there's actually not a team averaging 30.
Well, if the Giants go from 20th to 10th, 20th to 12th in offense, then I think it's a possibility.
Yeah, and I think we will take a jump next year because next year I just think we're going to be more aggressive, which will lend itself to more points. But 20th, when you look at our overall roster, is pretty good for points scored. When you look at the wide receivers we're throwing to and the offensive line and everything else. So I think he's done a good job. I do with what he's been provided with, and I think he's only going to get better. And you got to remember it's his first year as a play caller too. He's a rookie. But I like Kafka. But to his question, no, I don't. Yeah, like Baddog said, I don't expect Kafka to get a head coaching job after year one because I don't think the New York Giants offense is going to get a lot of notoriety. It's not like we're lighting teams up. If there was maybe a guy in the Eagles coaching staff for sure may get a head coaching opportunity. They're putting up a lot of points. But no, I don't think yet. I am more worried about him getting a head coaching job in the future as opposed to a guy like Wink, because Wink's been around the league. He's older. Right. Teams normally look for offensive-minded head coaches in today's NFL, specifically younger guys. So, yes, if Kafka becomes what I think he's going to become, I do think we're going to lose him eventually. It's going to happen. We lost Sean Payton. That's a good problem to have, though, because when you're losing coaches, it means your team's playing well. So, and that's the whole reason why I wanted Dable to begin with, Bad Dog. More so, when I saw the coaching options for the Giants in the offseason, and it's not like I hated Flores. I think Flores is a good coach. I thought he did a really good job with Miami. He got a lot out of that team. I always respected Flores. I always said he was one of the better, if not the best, Belichick disciple in terms of what he was able to get out of that Miami team early on. And when I thought they were tanking, it came out that they actually were. But the reason that I wanted Dable, when I saw the list of coaches, we needed an offensive guy because of this exact reason. You've got a young quarterback at Daniel Jones, potentially a guy that may be replacing him in the near future. At the time, I thought it was very possible he could be drafting a quarterback. And you could lose offensive coordinators. You could lose a Mike Kafka. You can't lose a Brian Dable if he's your head coach unless you fire him. Right. And we all know Brian Dable's a really good offensive mind. So that's why I thought it was imperative that the New York Giants brought in an offensive-minded head coach for that exact reason. I have full faith if we lost Kafka, our offense would still be very good because I think Brian Dable has as much to do with the offense as Kafka does. So, yeah, that's why I'm not even that worried about losing Kafka. I think we'd be able to find another offensive coordinator.
Yeah, I do too. Because again, I think this is mostly Brian Dable's offense.
Yeah.
And it's the Giants got a better talent, you would think, from Joe Shane than they have this year. So yeah, I think you can find I don't think an offensive coordinator, I mean, they make a difference. It's obvious they make a difference. I mean, look at the difference between this year's Giants team and last year's Giants team. But that was also a head coach. And I think a lot of that offense was Joe Judge's offense. So I think a lot of it has to do with the head coach because it didn't matter who was calling plays, if it was Jason Garrett or if it was Freddie Kitchens or whoever the hell was, it didn't matter. The offense was lost and it sucked and it was dry. It was bare bones. It was dull and it was hard to watch. The last month of the season was hard to watch. So yeah, I mean, you're always going to find a young, innovative mind someplace. So yeah, I wouldn't be too concerned about Kafka.
We're not losing him this year either. So,
right.
Which I think is important. Like I hope all these guys stay around for another year. Shea Tierney, they've talked about how he's done a great job as the quarterback coach for Daniel Jones. I hope he stays around. I want as much stability if and when I think Daniel Jones is coming back next year. I want as much stability because I want to get a real, true, and fair opportunity to really judge this guy at the quarterback spot next year if he comes back. I want them to get him weapons. I want him to have his second year in a modern-day NFL offense. I want him to have the same quarterback coach back. I want him to have the same offense coordinator back. And I don't think we got to worry about it. I think they'll be back for another year. The year after that, I'll say this, Ben. If Daniel Jones takes a leap next year and say he jumps into, he throws 30 touchdowns and the Giants are now suddenly ninth in offense, yeah, then Kafka's probably going to get a job somewhere.
Yeah, I agree.
But
people still find a way to say Daniel Jones stinks.
No, yeah, but I'm just saying, like, I'm not worried about it this year. If Jones takes the leap, that's when I worry about it. But at that point, you got confidence.
Listen, guys, that'd be a good problem to have, right?
It's a great problem
to have. So.
Yeah, great problem to have. Mark, man, thank you very much, man. Met you at FanFest, Chris. Tried getting my DJ drawing. Oh, I remember you, Mark. Yeah, man. I remember that. Tried to get my DJ drawing from my profile pic signed, but failed because I got in too late. Sunday going to be in section 106. Well, you said you're going in for warm-ups. Let's go, G-Man. I'm going to be there, too. I'm getting tickets, and I'm going to be there really early. So if you want to swing by, I'm going to be in lot L16 with Justin from Talkin' Giants. Yeah, going to be having some fun before the game. It was a lot of fun last time when I went against the Texans. So hopefully I get to see you there again. But, yeah, I remember you, man. We're going to go we'll go for about another 15 minutes because we started a little bit later tonight. We'll close it at 12:30. But thank you to everybody for being here. Thank you guys for all the support. Hopefully everybody's having a happy new year. Always fun to talk Giants with all you guys. Let's see what we got. He's done
maybe not. Oh. 99.8%.
Yeah, I mean, even the people that disagree with us, most of the time,
I don't care if they disagree. That's fine. I mean, you can't have everybody.
Most of the time, I still enjoy talking with them.
That's what I'm saying. If they disagree, fine.
It's just when they're
the ones that
when they're unbearable. Correct. When they're unbearable, correct. Obnoxious.
And that's a very, very small percentage.
Yeah. And Joe Arias says, "What's up, guys? What's going on, Joe? Man, thanks for popping in,
Joe.
Buddy. You're going into the NFL draft next year. Do every team? Who do you think the draft? Who do you think the Giants? I think you meant to say, who do you think the Giants and Jets draft going into 2023? Do you draft? We're not drafting a quarterback. I don't think. I'll never say never. Anything's possible, but I don't think we're drafting a quarterback. The Jets are an interesting one. I don't think, Bad Dog, the Jets are going to draft a quarterback.
No,
now
they're going to sign one.
I think they're going to sign one. They certainly could. Because they're going to be picking now probably if they miss the playoffs, which it looks like they're going to be picking 15, 16. So they could definitely trade up and get a guy or draft a guy. But I think the Jets are going to look at their roster because they have a pretty complete – they're in a very similar situation to Washington, but even possibly even further developed. They have a pretty good surrounding roster, and there's some pretty good free agent quarterbacks. And one of them is Daniel Jones, which is even more of a reason why the New York Giants probably won't let him go because could you imagine what it would look like if Daniel Jones went to the Jets and was really good with the supporting cast they have there. But I think they're going to go for Garoppolo. That's where I'm strongly leaning. I think it's going to be Jimmy G because of all the ties from the 49ers on that coaching staff. Obviously Saleh was the defensive coordinator. Their offensive coordinator came from the 49ers. So it makes sense. And I think Jimmy Garoppolo is going to sign somewhere. I don't think he'll be back with the 49ers. If not him, Derek Carr is a possibility. But I think the Jets are going to look for a free agent quarterback. And the Giants, I think we're sticking with Jones. I don't think we're drafting a quarterback. As far as what the Jets need, I don't know. I don't follow that team nearly as closely as I follow the Giants. But they're pretty well-rounded roster. Maybe they had another weapon. I don't know. Maybe some more help on the offensive line. I don't know enough about the Jets, to be completely honest with you. But the Giants, we've talked about it several times. It's wide receiver. It's middle linebacker. It's interior offensive line, and it's cornerback. It's those four positions, I think, are what we're going to attack in the draft.
Agreed.
Let's see what we got here. Anthony, it's possible if they love him, but I don't think they're going to go for a project. I think the Jets are going to look at their team. Especially when you factor in Douglas, Bad Dog. Douglas already missed on a quarterback. He already missed on how crazy is that? Like how often, and I'm not saying he doesn't deserve to be back because Douglas has really built that Jets team very well outside of that one miss. But how often do you see a general manager miss on a quarterback pick that high in the draft and get to keep his job after how as poorly as Zach Wilson has performed? He's still going to get to keep his job.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that, but it's who's the guy? Who's the Cardinals GM? He missed on Rosen, and then the next year they went and got Kyler Murray.
They did. They flipped,
and then they just paid Kyler Murray a ton of money, and Kyler Murray would rather play. What's that game he plays?
I think it's Fortnite, maybe.
No, it's not Fortnite. It's
the Call of Duty, I think.
Call of Duty, that's what it is. Yeah.
By the way, I don't watch a lot of Arizona Cardinal games. I watched them. I think they were in primetime maybe a couple of weeks ago. Cliff Kingsbury. First off, he's a horrible head coach, but
he's not a good one.
But Cliff Kingsbury, you know how they say like the president ages like 10 years when he gets elected or 20 years from Cliff Kingsbury looks like he aged 20 years in the 3 or 4 years that he's been the Arizona Cardinals head coach. I saw him on TV the other night and I'm like, oh my God. Like he looks like he got like at least 15 years older. It really shows you how stressful a head coaching job is, especially one with the Arizona Cardinals. But
I agree.
He's going to be the first guy out of here at the end of the year. He's definitely going to be fired. They'll be looking for another head coach.
He has to go. He has to go. I always want to see what the bowl games are tomorrow.
You got Alabama tomorrow.
That's at noon.
Yeah.
Alabama and K-State. I think Alabama rolls.
Somebody says, is that a Bulls hat? No, it's a Rock hat.
Oh, what the hell am I talking about? The freaking playoffs are tomorrow. TCU, Michigan, and Ohio State, Georgia. That's the one I'll be watching at my mother-in-law's house. Is Georgia and Ohio State. Like I said, I'm wrong about a lot of stuff, and I'm not always very sure about what I pick. But I'm telling you, as sure as I've ever been, Georgia's winning the whole thing. There's nobody close.
I agree.
They will run roughshod over Ohio State.
I think Michigan. That's my hot
piss. They will beat the piss out of Michigan.
I think Michigan. I guess that's my hot take for tomorrow. And I don't watch a whole lot of TCU. I think Michigan is going to steamroll TCU.
I think TCU will keep it close.
It seems like most people agree with you. I'm curious. I'm going to look right now. I'm curious.
Michigan's 7.5. They're a 7.5 point favorite. No, I think Michigan will cover that. I think Michigan will win. So what I think will happen, I think TCU will keep it within a touchdown for most of the game, and then Michigan will kick like a field goal to kind of cement it, and they'll win the game like 37-27, something like that.
Okay. So a
That's
late
kind of what I
cover.
think. But TCU has been very underrated. So 34-24, whatever, something like that with Michigan. I think they win by 10. I think they cover, but I think it'll be closer than the final score indicates.
The Georgia-Ohio State game is actually a closer spread, 6.
I love Georgia. I love Georgia giving 6.
I think I do too.
I love Georgia giving 6.
Ian, he says, hey, fellas, hype for Sunday. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to both of you. I'm not high on Richardson, maybe Levis, but still think we should draft another running back. Would like to see a bit more of Breida. Yeah, I doubt Brady's going to be back next year, if I'm being honest. The Giants haven't used him a whole lot this year. I'd like to see more of Breida, too. We've talked about it for weeks just to give Saquon Barkley a little bit of rest. But I think we're drafting a running back next year, even if Saquon Barkley's back. Probably in like the 4th or 5th round area. I think we'll be drafting a running back. As far as Levis, I don't hate Levis. I'll tell you who Levis reminds me of. Daniel Jones. When I've watched Will Levis, to be honest with you, he's really tough. He's got some mobility. He's got a pretty strong arm. And he runs a pro-style offense. I like Levis as a prospect. I'm not going to say I love him, but I like him. But he's not going to be there when the Giants pick anyway.
No, Levis took a step back this year, as did Kentucky.
Yeah.
So I've never been a Levis guy.
I'm just saying,
there's like 2 quarterbacks. I like Bryce Young a lot. I'm not sold on CJ Stroud.
Yeah.
I'm not. I don't really. None of these quarterbacks really knock my socks off in this draft. Next year, yeah, Caleb Williams is going to knock my socks. I love Caleb Williams. I got a man crush on Caleb Williams. Okay, I freaking loved him since I've said this. Loved him when number one, when you bring Oklahoma back against Texas and you're getting your ass kicked, you already won every Sooner fan over. That play against Kansas that will always stick in my mind, that an 18-year-old true freshman was smart enough to grab that ball from his running back because he got stuffed on 4th and 1, took it right out of his running back's hand and advanced it to get the first down and won the game because Oklahoma was able to run up the clock. Oklahoma was up by, I forget, like 7 maybe, or by 3, whatever it was, and Kansas was going to get the ball at midfield, and he didn't let that happen. I just said, what a high IQ football play from a guy that is 18 years old. And then if you watched him play, and you do now, you see him at USC, and USC and Oklahoma are very similar. It's because it's Lincoln Riley. The offense is great. The defense is trash. That's what USC is going to be. USC is going to be like, they're the Western Oklahoma. That's all that is.
That's the whole Pac-12, by the way. Every time I turn on a Pac-12 team, it's
the whole Big 12 too. Although TCU's played a little bit better defense, but that's been the Big 12's MO for years too. They don't play defense in the Big 12.
Yeah.
But yes, as soon as they ran up against a tough Utah team, and I don't even like Cam Rising. I don't think he's a very good quarterback. But as soon as you run up against a Utah team, you can't beat Utah. Lincoln Riley can never beat really good teams in big spots.
Well, Utah's got
great
a great
offensive mind, but the defense sucks. And that's all it is. It's Oklahoma West. That's what USC is. That's what USC is going to be. As long as Lincoln Riley's there, they'll beat up on the Pac-12. They'll get to the championship game. They may make the playoffs, but as soon as they have to play a team like Georgia or Alabama or Clemson or Ohio State or Michigan, anybody like that, they'll get the hell beat out of them. Yeah. Because they're not on that level because they have no defense. And that's Lincoln Riley. That's just the way it is. Lincoln Riley's going to make a great, if he ever goes to the
great OC.
If he, yes, he will make a fantastic offense.
I mean, the guy's had what, like 3 Heisman Trophy winners, right? I mean, you had.
Well, yeah, he had Baker, he had Kyler. Jalen Hurts was, he was in the running. I don't remember if he finished.
He didn't win it. He didn't win it.
Yeah, but he was in the running.
He was in the running.
And then Caleb Williams won it this year. So yeah.
So 3. That's crazy. Joe, man, thank you very much, man. All the best to both of you in 2023. We might be losing. I don't think we're going to lose Wink this coming year. Anyone you would like to see replace him? I don't think we're going to lose him. I really don't. I'd be shocked if we lost him. I don't think he's going to be a guy that teams really look at. And maybe I'll be wrong because defensive guys have gotten hired, but it seems like the trend in the NFL is offense when hiring a head coach, and young. That's what teams look for. Maybe somebody does hire him, but I mean, Wink's been getting head coach. If Wink was going to get a head coaching job, I think he would have gotten it already. Because when he was with
we interviewed him.
Yeah, we interviewed him. And when he was with Baltimore, as good of a job he's doing this year, Baltimore had maybe the best defense in football for like a 2 or 3 year stretch while he was the defensive coordinator, which is why he got interviews. But if he couldn't get a job then, we'll see. Maybe he will. If he does, I haven't even contemplated guys that could potentially replace him because I'm really not worried about it. But yeah, I couldn't even tell you. I wish I could. I couldn't even tell you in terms of a guy that would be able to replace him. But I don't think you got to worry about it. I think he'll be back next year.
Yeah,
I think he likes being here.
I saw somebody said Caleb Williams paints his nails. I don't care if Caleb Williams paints his face.
He actually does paint his nails. But I'm sure there's a reason behind that.
I don't care what he does. I don't care. I said that about Odell Beckham. People say all this crap about Odell Beckham. I'm like, I don't care if Odell Beckham runs out there in a tutu and glass slippers, man. Score touchdowns. I don't give a damn what these guys do. I don't know these guys. Painting his nails don't affect his throwing. They don't affect his running. It don't affect his athleticism. I like Caleb Williams. I like Michael Penix. Texas did a good job against Michael Penix last night. Frustrated him in the first half, but he had a much better second half. I fell asleep at the end of the game. I didn't miss anything. It was 27-17 when I fell asleep. But I'm a big Michael Penix fan. Caleb's my guy. Caleb's going number 1 overall. Whoever the hell drafts number 1 in 2024 is taking him.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
There's no
Kuda says hate, which will not be us. Kuda says, hey, Dana, we know the players we want back, but who's someone on the team that you think has to be gone next season?
Kenny Galladay.
Well, yeah. That's one for sure. In terms of like hard decision has to be gone. It's hard for me to say because I don't know what the markets are going to be for these players. But some names that I think if I'm Joe Shane, outside of the obvious ones that we've talked about throughout the stream, I think Slayton. If there's a market for Slayton, I think you let him walk. I think you let him walk. And he's played well for the Giants this year. I don't know if there will be a market for him. But the wide receiver crop is very slim, so it's very possible a team could convince themselves he's a $12 million receiver in today's market. You see what Christian Kirk got paid, $19 million a year. So I think that's a guy that if he has any kind of market, we're gonna lose him. I think the same thing for Julian Love, if I'm being honest. And I think Julian Love's incredible, but the NFL is a salary cap league, and if a team is willing to give Julian, and I don't know if they will be willing to do this. This is all based off of if this happens. But if a team is willing to give Julian Love moderate to high-end safety money, I don't know if the New York Giants are going to be able to pay him that. So those are two guys, if their markets are higher than some fans may think, I could see us losing this year in free agency. Yeah. I hope everybody's back. But that's the way the NFL works.
But when he says has to be gone, Galladay's the guy that has to be gone. He's making $72 million.
Yeah,
I know he's not coming back. That's what I'm saying, but that's what he means. He has to be gone.
Yeah, he's gone.
But Kuda was emphasizing he is gone. He's as good as gone.
Yeah, he's gone yesterday. He's off the team. Yeah. I'm gonna take a couple more questions and we're gonna close this out. I'd keep Love over Slayton. I think I would too, Blizza. If I agree with you.
Oh, I agree with that.
Yeah,
and had a good year, and I commend him for taking a pay cut, but he drops too many passes. And I think Love's just a better player at his position than Slayton is.
Yeah, it comes down to their market though, too. Like if Slayton doesn't have a market, and you could bring back for $2 or $3 million and $4 million, whatever, and Love is getting offered $9, $10, $11 million at the same. It comes down to the market.
Yeah, but I get it.
If all things are equal, I agree. I keep Love. He's a captain. He's a good player. I'll keep it Love. Love's been very good. I love Love. No pun intended.
He's talking about Julian, not Jordan.
Yeah. Albert says I want Jimenez gone. I think he will be. I think he will be.
I'd like Jihad Ward to come back.
I would. And hopefully we could get him back on a cheap salary.
Jalen Smith will not be here.
No, he's bad in coverage. He's bad in coverage. Would you have rather stuck with Joe Judge or Kenny Galladay? Kenny Galladay. Because we wouldn't
Kenny Galladay, because we're 8-6-1 with Kenny Galladay, and we were 4-13 with Joe Judge and Kenny Galladay.
And we wouldn't have Brian Dable. And we wouldn't have Joe Shane. Joe Shane wouldn't have taken this job had you forced Joe Judge on him. Right. So at least that's my opinion. So we wouldn't have the two guys we have in charge right now. So that's an easy one. Let's see what we got. I don't think Big Cat's going to be gone, JC. I'd be surprised. Jacob says, I hate Kenny G, that guy. Yeah, we all do. Well, I don't want to use the word hate, but we wish he was more than what he became. Do you guys think Adoree Jackson will be back in 2024? I have no idea. He's going to be back in 2023. I'll tell you that because we pushed back a lot of money.
I mean, you're going 2 years ahead.
He's not on the contract.
Idea.
He's not on contract, so I have no idea. I don't know what our cap situation is.
You're talking 2 drafts and 2 free agent. There's no.
Let's see what they do in the draft. If they draft the first round corner, I'm going to tell you probably not, because they're going to say to themselves, "What we're probably."
That's what I mean. You got 2 years of free agency and 2 years of drafts. You have we don't know what the hell is going to happen in 2023, let alone 2024.
Yeah. How about a new punter? I'd like a new punter. I will say though, he did well last week. Yeah, if I'm being fair, he's played better the last 3 or 4 weeks, but he's still been underwhelming for me this year. But you get what you pay for, man. We're paying him nothing. We're paying him next to nothing, so you get what you pay for.
He does have a cool nickname.
He does. The Scottish Hammer. Can we petition for the Giants to slogan to be stand up and have Tane on the Jumbotron? That'd be cool. I'm not sure of my section yet, Abdullah. I'm buying them. I'm going to buy them on StubHub tomorrow. There's plenty of tickets. So I'll let you guys know. But I'm going to be in lot L16, so you can meet me there before the game if you're going. Lot L16 before the game. Let's see. What would you give for Adams?
He makes too much money.
That's the thing with Adams. Like, let me look it up again. We've talked about this.
Yeah, he makes like $22 million or so. It's a lot.
The guy that I think is possible.
I'm not telling
you my number one option. Like, my number one option is T. Higgins because of his age. It's probably T. Higgins in terms of a guy that people bring up because of his age. But a guy
you'd have to trade for him.
We'd have to trade for any of these guys.
Well, that's true.
You got to trade for Higgins. You got to trade for Hopkins. You got to trade for
Adams.
But realistically speaking, because I think people that talk about T. Higgins are living in a dream world. They're living in fantasy land. Because and I understand where people are coming from. They say, well, they're not going to pay Higgins because they got to pay Chase and they got to pay Burrow. But I don't think they're moving on from Higgins next year. And maybe I'll be wrong, but Higgins is still under contract, and you got to try to capitalize on Joe Burrow's rookie salary while you can. So why would you trade away talented young wide receivers where you could still capitalize on that rookie salary?
Yeah, I don't know why they would get rid of
him. So I don't see that. It just doesn't. It makes zero sense to me. I think that's fantasy land. So in terms of a realistic option that I could see the New York Giants trading for, yeah, I think Hopkins is probably the best option. I think he's still one of the top 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 receivers in the league. Yeah, I know he's like 30, 31, but he's really good. He would definitely help this offense. But again, it all comes down to the price. What is it going to cost?
I'm watching T.Y. Hilton tear it up for Dallas. He hadn't played all year. How old is T.Y. Hilton?
He's over 30.
So, yeah. I mean, of course, having CeeDee Lamb on the other side helps.
Yeah.
So, listen, if the Giants really wanted to take a swing at it and they had to give up a second rounder for DeAndre Hopkins, I would still draft their wide receiver. You add a number one receiver and a DeAndre Hopkins with Wan'Dale Robinson, and you keep Isaiah Hodgins. Now you're talking.
As far as Adams goes, yeah, he's
too much money.
His cap number. I mean, next year it's only 14, and the year after it's 25. Then it's 44. So and he's already 30. I mean, he's gonna be 31 next year. With Hopkins, it's only a 2-year commitment, and he's not making near that. So I don't think we're trading for Devontae Adams. I'd be shocked if we did that. I think Hopkins is obtainable because I think the Murray's going to miss at least probably half the year next year. They're probably going to have a new head coach. They may have a new GM, so he may be getting rid of some of these players. So that's a guy I could see being obtainable. Another guy that I could see being obtainable is a guy like Godwin from the Bucs. He's still young. He's 26. And if Brady retires, that could be a team that's looking to start to rebuild, get draft capital. So those are guys that I think are obtainable. Would I rather have a T. Higgins? Yeah. Would I rather have even a Pittman? Yeah, he's young. But I think these teams are more likely to trade wide receivers than the others. So that's the way I look at it. So I think a Godwin, a Mike Evans, a Hopkins. If the Giants are going to trade a Brandon Cooks,
Cooks makes a lot of money, and he's also been injured, and he's older.
Yeah. But those are realistic targets. I don't think the Higgins are very realistic.
No.
But we'll see in the offseason if the Giants even like to trade for a wide receiver.
Who's the other guy from Carolina? DJ Moore.
DJ Moore is another possibility, but again, They're going to have a new head coach, probably a new GM. So we'll see how they feel about the players on their roster. Deleted, man. Thank you very much. Are we keeping Sterling Shepard?
I doubt
I think it's possible if he comes back on a league min salary like Slayton did this year. Possible. But outside of that, no.
I can't see it.
I mean, I could see it for $800,000, but outside of that, and to be honest with you, he's probably not getting much more than that anywhere else because the guy's always hurt, and it'd be cool to have him back for a league min salary if it's not really affecting the salary cap. But do I think Sterling Shepard is going to have any real role with this team going forward? No. I think you're going to have next year's receiving core. You're going to have Wan'Dale Robinson, Hodgins. He's under contract next year. He'll be back. Hopefully, he's not starting. I'm hoping he's the wide receiver.
And then you don't know.
And then you don't know. I think it's those two, and maybe they bring back one of these. Maybe they bring back Slayton if he doesn't have much of a market. Maybe they bring back a guy like Richie James or a back-end wide receiver like that. But we're adding 2 starters next year. We're adding 2 starters. One of them is probably going to be in free agency or a trade, and the other one's going to be in the draft.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's what they have to do.
Yeah, that's what I think we will do. That's why I think we're drafting a first-round wide receiver because we don't have starters at the position. But guys, we are going to close it out. Thank you to everybody for all the support you guys always show. Appreciate each and every one of you guys. You guys are the best. Baddog will be live streaming again, and he's got the shades on. He's got the shades. He's ready to go. Baddog's going to be live streaming the game on his channel this week. I'm going to be at the game. We'll be live streaming the game together last week against the Eagles. Hopefully that game means nothing. Baddog, hopefully that last game of the year, it's just going to be like the chillest, most fun stream we've ever had.
Yes.
Where we don't care what the final score is because we're already in the playoffs.
Yes.
Hanging out with the chat, talking about movies, talking about music.
Talking about the playoffs.
Just getting ready for the following week. That's what I hope. I hope that is a meaningless football game. And we get to come back. We get the party this entire week that the team is going to the playoffs. But appreciate all you guys. You guys are the best. Thank you guys for all the support you guys always show on both platforms. Real quick final score prediction. And I'm not trying to jinx the team, but when I give my final score prediction, I'm going to give you what I truly feel. And I'm not going in cocky. It's the NFL. It's the NFL. You look at the scoreboard every week, and every week there are games that you say to yourself, how the hell did that happen? And I'm not ruling that out as a possibility. It can happen.
Look at the Texans playing Dallas.
Any given Sunday, anything can happen.
Look at the Colts playing the Eagles.
Yeah. Washington when they beat the Eagles. So I am fully acknowledging the fact that we could lose on Sunday. But I'd be lying to you if I said that I don't think we're going to – I think we're going to win this game. If I didn't say, rather, that I think we're going to win this game in a convincing fashion. I think this is going to be the game this year that the Giants win convincingly. And maybe it won't be as high as the final scores I'm predicting in terms of the discrepancy. Maybe they get a garbage time touchdown. Maybe they make it closer. I'm not going to be as cocky as I was last night, but I think we're going to win by 2 touchdowns. I think the Giants are going to win this one. I think we're scoring 30 points. And it's not because I think the offense is going to light them up. I think it's because we're going to create 2 or 3 turnovers. We're going to create extra possessions. And I think Giants are going to win this one, 31-17. I think Giants are going to win convincing this week. I really do.
24-14 Giants. They're going to get it done. The defense is going to be dominant in this one. And I think that Indianapolis gets 14 points at the end of the game. I think the Giants have this in hand, and then they get a cheap touchdown and makes the game look closer. I expect the Giants defense to come out and set the tone early. I think Wink's going to be aggressive early. I'd be surprised if he wasn't because that's just his MO, but I think that we're going to be able to get there with 4. Like I said, Zach Moss is the one guy that I worry about a little bit because he's a hard runner and we have really struggled against the run. But I think that we can get to Foles. I think Foles will turn the ball over, and I do think the Giants know how important this is. They're at home. The fans are there. I think they're going to come out pumped up, and I think that they're going to put their foot on their throat early, and I think they're going to cruise to a victory. And I for once, I feel good. I feel really good about it again. Like I'm extremely confident. Again, I don't mean they can't lose, but I'm not thinking they're going to. I think we win. I think we win convincingly, and I think we're going to the playoffs.
Incredible. I can't believe we're saying that statement right now. With 2
for 5 years we've done this show, or this is our 4th year, 5th year, 4th year. We started
Barkley's rookie year, so this is a
5th
18.
Year.
This is a 5th year.
So this is the 5th year.
Yeah, because it's Jones' 4th year in the league. So it's our 5th year.
This is our 5th year together.
No.
And we haven't been able to say that word at all. And here it's right in front of us. It's there for the taking. They got to go and take it. And as I've said, if they lose, they don't deserve the playoffs. I'm not going to sit here and rely on the Eagles to rest their starters, not play, and all this other crap. I don't want to win it like that. I don't want to win it like that. I want to win this week. You don't need to worry about what those other teams do. If the Giants lose, there's still a possibility that they can get in. But I don't want that. I don't want to have to scoreboard watch. I want to win this game. I want to watch our scoreboard. That's all I care about. Win. Win, damn it.
Yeah. And King Chris says, I think we're going to get off to a slow start for some reason. Well, I don't blame you for feeling that way because we always get off to a slow start. So it would kind of be status quo for the Giants if we did. But I don't know. I could be completely wrong. I've been completely wrong several times. But I'm confident. I'm confident that the Giants are going to win this game, and I think they're going to win this game fairly convincing. Now, they may only win by 7. Maybe they get a garbage time touchdown at the end of the game, but I think the Giants will control this game start to finish. I think they're the much better team. I think everything sets up for them to be able to take advantage of this team. And I think Brian Dable just runs the laps around Jeff Saturday. So that's probably the biggest reason, more so than anything else. The players aside, the coaching advantage in this game for the Giants is tremendous. So that's more so than anything else why I'm very confident going into this game.
Yeah, I agree.
But guys, thank you guys so much for being here. Appreciate it. Bad Dog, do what you do.
Well, as always, Chris, thanks for having me on. I'm pumped up about this game. I can't wait for it. Happy New Year to everybody out there, because I will not be on YouTube tomorrow. So happy New Year. If you're going to go out and have fun, listen, you're only young once. Go out, live it up. Just be safe, be responsible. If you're going to drink, don't drive. I mentioned this before. This is my dad instinct. Up here, I don't know how it is in the city or wherever you guys are from. I know up here they get free cab rides. Okay, you just call.
They do here too.
So if you feel like you drank too much, just take a cab. That's all I'm going to say. I did a lot of stupid things in my life, so I can speak from experience. Just don't drink and drive. Okay, so that's all I'm saying. I never drank and drove. I have, but I never got in trouble. But I did end up, having an accident because I'm an idiot, or I was an idiot. Well, I'm still an idiot, but I know better not to do that. So just be careful. I know when you're 19 or 20, you feel like you're invincible. You're not. So be safe, enjoy, live it up, and don't get too hungover, because we got a big game on Sunday, and you're going to want to be there for that one. Let's win this damn game, Giants. Let's go to the playoffs. Let's go to the freaking playoffs, man.
We're getting there, Bad Dog. We're getting there. We're getting there. But yeah, stay safe, everybody. Enjoy your new year, but stay safe. We want you guys back in the stream on when we're in the playoffs, and hopefully you guys are able to wake up for that Sunday game after New Year's. I know I will. I hope you guys do too. Thank you guys for all the support. And Bad Dog, close it out.
All right, guys. Enjoy the rest of your, like I said, enjoy your new year. Come on back on Sunday. Let's make the damn playoffs, baby. For the Entertainment Talking Sports, it's a Bad Diggy Dizzle. We gone. Peace.
And we are